think. There you go. That should be us again now. Yay!
Hello.
Oh, hello, everyone.
Happy days are here.
Colin here, Festa 60s. Evans Workshop. And the guru himself. Welcome to another Workbench live on a Wednesday. I honestly think we're going out. Yeah, we are. I can see it on the other screen. So I've just got to move me YouTube screens over because I'm a little bit behind at the moment because we dropped a bit of a nut.
You're behind.
Yeah,
you're a bit behind.
There you go. So hello chat, how we all doing? Just a quickie, can you let me know that audio and video are going out all right, and we'll make a start. So
yes,
welcome to Wednesday at the bench with eModels. We're doing the baneblades, folks. Dun, 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 dun,
what we're doing, Cole, because I've got no idea what we're doing today. Have you got any evidence of what we're doing?
Yeah, we're doing them bad boys. Look at that. Whoa, baneblade.
I don't know what made people think we were doing baneblades.
And I did really well because post-show I didn't fettle.
He did not? Well,
because I was too busy trying to redo the live stream and everything because it kind of fell over.
He did pick up his big tube and made sure it fitted.
Well, I might have done a TED and moved me keyboard and leant on it, and I pressed all the buttons and everything died.
Even I'm sitting there going, I feel a bit fun.
Bear in mind, I'm having to put up with him in one ear giving it, what you done bit, and it's like, dude, yeah.
I'm sent to try you. Everyone says AV's good, by the way.
Cheers for that. And also, yes, Atto, I saw that just before we came live that Paul O'Grady has sadly passed away. Yeah.
That's sad news.
What a shock, eh? Because he was only 67. It's not old, is it?
Yeah, he had a lot of heart problems there, didn't he? So.
Yes, he had quadruple, quintuple bypasses or whatever you want to call it and all of that lot. But yeah, it's still a shame, isn't it? Anyway,
well for me with my diet.
May he rest in peace, bless him.
Yes.
First in the chat, we had Fox saying hello again, everyone. Yay, technical nonsense. Yeah, guess who done the TED? Guess who done the TED? Yeah, I may have done a TED. So, yeah, Ted's not the only one who does a TED. Jeff Light is in, says hello, Colin Fox, and all in chat. Hello, mate. The lovely Jackie's in, saying hello, everyone. Hello, Jackie. Hello, Kev. Kevin's in the chat. How do, mate?
Morning, Kev.
Athol says, gremlins are everywhere these days. He says, morning and afternoon chat. Yep, absolutely, Athol. Gremlins are everywhere, mate. We noticed this when we put the new link up, how much of a delay that there is in YouTube these days. It's quite shocking, Fox. And it's over a minute now.
It's because they have to hand draw every frame of video.
Yeah. Jeff Light says, sad news. He was a great guy, and everyone's saying audio and video is fine. Mahusiv, thanks for that. Let's just see whether or not anything else has gone in. Everything's a bit slow today, isn't it?
Yeah. Don't forget, folks, of course, this is a show for eModels.co.uk, your one-stop shop for all your model making needs. It is a family-friendly show, so please keep it clean in the chat. Yeah. And please do not discuss other model retailers, because that would really suck on an eModels.co.uk show. There you go. That's the rules. That's only the rules. It's the only rules.
There you go.
So how are you, Cole?
I'm all right, mate. I'm all right. I'm just trying to sort my iPad out, mate. Because
yes, I was giving you some fiddling time.
Yeah, because it's been it's because I've got the twitches today, and every time I press something on the iPad, I twitch, and I'm doing double presses, and it's So I'm going to leave the iPad alone now and just let it scroll automatically, and I'm just going to sit here and
quietly not touch it again.
Yeah, don't press any more buttons, Cole. I'm all right, mate. As you know, things are funny at the moment, but I'm all right. I finally had a couple of hours kit, mate, so you'll be proud of me.
Yeah, first time in about 4 days.
So, it's been a bit strange, isn't it, mate?
Yeah. Probably also adding to why you've got the twitches a little bit. If you haven't slept properly.
Exactly. He's like, I can't believe you're still awake. It's one of them.
Talking of not being with it, I've just been trying to flip my lenses down. They're there in my hand.
Oh, you spud.
I'm sitting there on my forehead, like, why am I just flicking my foot? Oh, they're there.
I couldn't figure out yesterday why the picture on the TV suddenly went blurry, right? And I said to H, I said, blimey, I said, I only put that board in the telly last week. I said, that bloody picture's terrible all of a sudden, unless it's the broadband out. And she said, you lifted your glasses to rub your eyes, you silly git, and you haven't put them back down. Yeah, my glasses were sat just above my eyebrows.
We are men of a certain age. I love the fact, though, that I love the fact you didn't acknowledge that everything else around the TV screen was also blurry.
Exactly. She just looked at me and she went, why me? I went, oh, come on. Yeah. So, yes. How's Mum?
We're doing all right. We're doing all right.
You're doing all right, mate.
Yeah, things are going all right.
Yeah, I'm just going to lose my fleece because I'm a bit hot.
Now, as you know, we're both working on the baneblade.
Yeah.
Because eModels do stock Warhammer stuff. So we thought we'd start
folks.
this series off with the Warhammer, the biggest Warhammer.
Absolutely. Funko Freddy says hello. How do, mate?
Hey, Freddie.
Yeah.
Now, you're a little further ahead than me, but only a little bit, aren't you?
Yeah,
You're
Jeff
doing a
Light
different
says
version.
he's got BT mucking around just up the road. Yeah, I had it last week here with the Virgin Media people were doing a upgrade to the cabinet across the street there, and they had knocked to say that it might drop out a couple of times, and true to their word, it did. It's like, yeah.
It's quite funny over the last few weeks. I get a text message on my phone saying, hi, it's Virgin here, there's an outage in your area. Then 2 minutes later, bing, hi, we fixed the outage. But I kept getting this like every few hours or for about a week.
Yeah.
I'm like, what are you doing? I haven't even got Virgin broadband. What?
Yeah.
What are you crazy people doing?
Perils of technology, eh?
Yes.
Okay, we've got sponsons to make. We've got exhaust pipes to make. So that's kind of what I'm going to be up to.
Now, we're both building slightly different variants of the baneblade. If you've not seen a baneblade before, there's 8 different variants that you can build out of the one kit. Or you can build all 8 at the same time if you want. Colin's doing a shadow sword, I believe. Is that right?
Yes, it is the shadow sword. 2 secs. I'll pick up my book of Banebladeness and show you.
Yes.
It says.
Which is the fixed turret. It's a fixed turret siege variation.
Yeah, that one along the bottom.
Yeah, designed for breaking through walls and sieging buildings and things. But it also you can also put like 400 billion dudes in it as a transport as well.
Yeah.
And I'm doing the box standard Baneblade, which is, I've not even opened the box. Good God.
I know.
I've not even opened my Baneblade box because I've
Dot Cotton's in. I know.
I know. Oh, my neck. I've not even, because, hang on, let me get the box open. That'd be a good start, wouldn't it?
Absolutely would be, mate.
I'm just cleaning the barrels, you see.
Good evening, Cole Fox and chatty people. Hello, mate. James is in.
Hello,
from
buddy.
James JC Bricks and Builds.
James.
Who else is in? Everyone's saying hello to Freddie. Athol's saying hello to Angus, as is Jeff. Yeah. Yeah, welcome from down under, Angus. I take it everything is safe and well. Yeah, cut that off, Cole, and drop it straight on the floor, because that's what you wanted to do.
Spoon mode activated.
Yeah.
Which one? Where's mine? I am doing.
Definitely one of them days, isn't it?
Yeah, it's I can sense for you at least it's going to be one of them days.
It is.
Right, where's me thing that says I'm doing the Baneblade, which is that top one there.
Yeah.
Which
Edward
is
Spannerhand's grabber. Grabbed. There you go.
The class name category.
Yeah.
Which is a more traditional tank-like tank.
Yeah. Well, the thing is it just gives them a bit of variety, because obviously these are going back up to eModels. And yeah, the last thing they want in their display cabinet is 2 identical Baneblades. So it just gives people an idea of the variants that you can build. So
yeah, like I say, there's 8 in the box that you can build. If you're clever with magnets, you can build enough to have all 8, and you can swap them out if you want to play different variants on the tabletop.
Yeah, if you're slightly mad like me, then you just put all 8 variants one baneblade.
Yes. Now, important note that we mention each week is that this specific kit, this SKU, this SKU of the baneblade is actually the old one, because like a week after James sent us these kits, they reboxed the baneblade with an extra sprue in it. So this one is the kit that comes without the accessory sprue, which eModels probably still have some left in stock. And then when they get the new one is basically the same kit, but it comes with an extra sprue of accessories like ladders and barrels and stuff, and extra sponsons. That is the new one. So that, I don't know if that's in stock yet, but eventually it will replace this one. So just be aware. Your sponsors are made of sponsors. I did write up a bit of blurb for James, mate, so that when you look at the kit on the site, if it's the new one with the extra additional sprue, it will say that.
Yeah.
I think the old one will also say this is the old version without the extra sprue.
Yeah.
Just so you know. So we're building the one that doesn't have the extra accessory sprue because it changed like literally 5 minutes after we got sent this one.
Absolutely, yeah. It was one of those, dynamic moments, wasn't it?
It's the same kit. It's just got an extra sprue in it, basically.
Athol says, but are you painting them in the same schemes or will they be different? No, they're going to be totally different colour schemes, mate.
I can guarantee that because I don't even know what my colour scheme's going to be yet.
Yeah.
It's not going to be Cadian because that's boring.
So, no, they're going to be different paint schemes.
Mm-hmm.
Currently, they're trying to decide on colours at the moment. So
yeah, I've not figured mine out yet.
I haven't figured out hardly anything to do with the paint scheme, to be honest with you. I've got an idea of the dazzle effect I'm going to do, but it's like, yeah.
I mean, I did one in Corn-to camouflage, like the Matilda tanks once, and it came out really nice, actually.
Yeah.
It was quite good, but I'm not doing that again. At the minute, I'm just cleaning up my barrels to get rid of the big...
Clean up your barrels. Clean up your barrels for fun.
You have to put that on the end of the word barrels, don't you?
Absolutely.
Properly southern.
Yeah, it's a London thing, isn't it? It's like when you say anything with an H, you always make sure that you let people know there's an H in it.
Yeah, with an
Ellen,
H.
With an H.
With an H. Like if somebody says something that makes you really despair, you just go with an H.
Yeah. Angus says either with or without extra barrels. Exactly, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, this is quite a challenge, this build. Not the actual gluing together. For me, it's because it is out of the box. Yes,
he's not allowed to add like 300 3D printed components or bits from a Junkers 88 or anything like that.
No, this is... Yep. Can you build it
this is as God intended?
Someone else that may have purchased the kit would build it themselves. In other words, a vanilla build. And for me, that is quite difficult because you will see once I've finished building this on one of the streams, I'm going to get down the insane blade and put it next to it and go, if you really want to be stupid, you can make one of these. Yeah. Yeah,
because we don't want somebody writing into eModels saying, I watched your series and ordered a baneblade and was most disappointed that I didn't get the bits for the rope bridge.
Yeah, exactly.
Or the waterfall,
So I need to make sure that all the bits I'm putting on the kit are actually in the box because this is work for us too. This is, this is building for eModels that are selling the kit. So people might suddenly go, I was looking for that squished bloke hanging off the front and he's not in the box.
Yeah. Of course, there's no harm in. There's nothing to say you can't go to eModels and ask something like a 1973 Rothmans Tyrrell six-wheeler race car from Tamira and stick all the parts on this tank. You could do that.
I don't go giving me ideas. And it's his fault because every time I thought I had finished that other one, he said, "Here, I'll tell you what would be good. How about a nice sail?" Yeah,
a crow's nest.
Yeah, guess what had a sail and a crow's nest on it the following week. Yeah.
Now, what I'm doing at the minute is probably some of the only real cleanup you'll need to do, apart from the actual cannon barrel. some of the only actual, well, you know this, I'm talking to the audience really, but
Yeah,
some
I'm
of the
just
only
being
real,
polite and acknowledging you,
yeah,
mate.
you're just making happy, what's the phrase now we used to use in customer service? Positive listening noises.
Positive listening noises, and if I
Yeah.
was next to you, I'd be doing a mandatory head nod to let you know
Yeah.
I'm acknowledging your
And
wise
you'd be
words
perhaps-
of wisdom.
Perhaps mirroring my pose as well. God, I hate working in customer services.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyway, so on the baneblade, there's only a very small number of bits you'll have to actually do any kind of cleanup. You know, like mould line cleanup and seams and things.
You're a
There's
mould
very
line.
little you'll need to correct. But on the fuel barrels, the Promethean barrels that go on the back, you've of course got the big seam that goes right down the middle because the barrels are in two halves. So you've got this half of the barrel and that half. So you've got this big seam line that goes right down. Now we filled in the ends of the barrel because if you're able, this is a recessed barrel cap, if you're able to fill that and sand it, then, you know, you're a better modeler than I because it's a recessed. No, forget it. Just make a little plastic circle and put it in there. It's much easier than farting about trying to get in there and fill it. Plus, it looks more like a barrel lid because it's a separate piece to the surround of the barrel.
More
but then you've also got
a barrel.
barrel.
More like
So you've also
a barrel.
barrel of fan. You've got the gap down the middle of the barrel there on either barrel. Now, when we made these, we did the thing where you put the glue in and then squish it. So we've got a nice bead of glue, and all I'm doing is I'm getting a metal file and I'm just very gently filing that away. So when it's filed and sanded, that you'll see here, that line, although you can see it there because I've put some glue over it. Once that's got primer on it and paint, you won't see that gap. And that, apart from getting rid of the mould lines on the tracks and maybe a little bit of work on the cannon, there's really not a lot of actual gap work to do on this. There's a few little bits where I've got a gap between some panels that I'll just fix with a bit of plastic card and some rivets. But
Yeah.
other than that, there's very little remedial work to do on this kit.
And yes, Kevin, I have taken my steroids, mate. So poor Fox is in for a good day today.
Have you taken more than necessary? Again?
No, I haven't. I haven't made that mistake again.
No.
Yeah.
We did a stream. If you haven't seen it, we did a stream a few weeks ago, and bless him, Colin took. I think you took one too many, didn't you?
I took four instead of.
You're on a bigger dose.
Yeah.
He's on a bigger dose, and it was like, imagine like Alvin and the Chipmunks on speed.
Yeah. I saw the 4 on the label and thought it was the quantity, but it wasn't. It was take one every 4 hours.
Yeah.
And I just took 4 at once, and
Yeah. It was like he'd drunk every cup of coffee produced in the world on that day. It was all I could,
mate.
It was all I could stop him from doing, like going around the house with the Hoover at 2 a.m.
Yeah, I was.
It really was like something out of Train Spotting. It was like
I was proper, mate. It was, yeah.
Paul Di Tommaso is in. Welcome, Paul.
Hello, Paul. How you
Big
doing,
hugs to you and
mate?
Dawn. Unfortunately, Games Workshop has removed that sprue from their website, says Jeff. Yes, yeah, because they no longer sell this particular SKU, this particular version.
Yeah.
The accessory sprue is now comes with the kit.
Yeah.
In the past, what you had to do was, if you wanted the extra sponsons, because you can build more, it can have up to 6 sponsons on it, you'd have to order the extra or accessory sprue, which comes with extra dudes and sponsons. But now, because that's included in the kit, they don't need to sell that separately anymore, which is a shame, because it was good for parts.
Well, yeah, because you think, right, if I was to be starting to build the Insane Blade now, I wouldn't have been able to put the 6 sponsons on it.
No, I mean, there is still a tank accessory sprue, but that's like, hatches and dudes and bits and bobs. It's not the same one.
Yeah,
Not the
so that Insane Blade would be unbuildable now.
Yeah, I don't know if in the codex it's changed to have just 4 sponsons. Could be.
Angus says, is Cole allowed to hoover? Yes, I love doing a bit of hoovering. I walk round, I've got me crutch in one hand, not crutch, but me walking crutch. The need to explain yet.
Yeah.
And I have the hoover in the other because we got one of those Dyson cordless things, and I do like doing a bit of hoovering, mate.
But what you don't know, what he's not telling you, that he also has the little pinny and the Freddie Mercury moustache while he sings "I Want to Break Free."
Oh, proper lording it around. Gold hot pants, yeah.
He's there singing. I'm not going to sing it, obviously, but he's like, "I want to break free."
Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I've now got
mate.
this image of you in a French maid outfit and a Freddie Mercury moustache, and I really don't want that image.
Yeah, it's in your retinas now, mate. When you close your eyes to go into your world of slumber at night, you're
my
not going
mind
to be able to
palace.
see that.
Yeah, I'm never going back to my mind palace ever again.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah, there is a tank accessory sprue that you can get. But unfortunately, you can't buy that from stores. You have to get it from Games Workshop, either in a Games Workshop store or on their website.
Yeah.
It's not like eModels could stock that.
Yeah. Yeah, could probably order it in on a special order for you, but...
I don't know if they can.
Or does it have to be only licensed Games Workshop can sell it?
It's basically some Games Workshop stock is website only, which means you can only buy it from Games Workshop's website, or if you're going to a Games Workshop store, they have a terminal where you can order things online.
Yeah, all our white box stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, so those things aren't supplied to retailers.
Yeah,
it's basically because GW stores can only have so much on the shelves. So
yeah,
and there's some stuff that's just it doesn't sell a lot, so they don't bother putting it into.
Yeah.
They don't bother with the box art and stuff. But I'm sure it might be possible if you ask eModels for specific ones, they'll be able to get it for you. Possibly.
I'm gonna do that. Let's have a looky look.
I've not checked yet if eModels have got the new one in stock. So it's exactly the same kit. It's just got an extra sprue, and it costs a little bit more because of the extra sprue. That's it.
Yeah, they've not changed the artwork, have they? So there's not really. Is there an obvious way of defining it, or have they got the big red thing, new sprue included?
No, there's no difference at all in the. It's a slightly taller box to allow for one more sprue, but it looks exactly the same. The only way to know for sure is that on eModels things that I put some description in there for the description. So if it's the new one, it'll have the bit that says this includes the extra sprue. Yeah. Because I think the original one just says, this is not the new one, this one does not have the extra sprue. It'll have a different serial number as well, but...
Yeah. Is it that one? Is it that one? I think it's that one. It's that one.
You sure it's that one?
Yeah, that's the one.
I knew that was the one. I always knew that. I had faith in you, Carl.
Yeah, there you go.
I don't know what he's doing.
Angus says, is it safe wearing the 6-inch heels? No, not for me, mate.
Colin's not safe. Colin's not safe in bare feet. Never mind 6-inch heels.
And enough me walking around in slipper socks, I still trip over my feet.
That's because you've got that giant single slipper there.
Yeah.
Trying to get down the stairs in that big one single slipper.
Yeah, that's probably where I'm going wrong.
Yeah, I told you that was a bad idea, you spoon.
Yeah. That's why I keep falling down the stairs, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm made of slippers. Got to change that again now because it's a smaller drill bit.
Spider Pig, are you drilling out the end of your exhausts?
Yeah, I just think it'll look a bit better because they're not very deep, are they? Let's be honest. They're a bit.
No, I mean you get a bit of black wash in there, but it's still not very.
No, it don't look. Yeah, it don't look very good to me. So.
Yeah.
Just one of them, innit? This is the sort of thing we do, innit? Because it just makes it look a little bit more real.
Yeah. Well, the difference is that we're building these for display and not just for tabletop. There's a lot you can get away with on a tabletop because you're viewing them from like 3 feet away. But there's nothing to say you can't take it that little bit further.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what we're doing because it just makes it look a bit. Yeah. For me, anyway, it just makes it look a little bit better.
Yeah, fits with our own normal standards. Well, I say normal. Probably not the right word to use for us to.
Normal standards, us two
that's not a word normal that should associate with me and Carl.
Yeah, you go careful, mate, because people are now, spitting their food out in shop.
Yeah.
See, there you go. It just makes it look a bit better. See, there's one that isn't drilled.
Yeah.
And there's one that is drilled. Can you see which one it is yet, folks? Yeah.
Awesome.
To me, that just looks better. You're only going back a couple of extra mil.
Yeah, but it just gives it that depth.
Yeah.
Now, handy tip from my end, if you pardon the expression, when you're sanding your barrels, they've got these raised sort of bits around the middle of them, and they've got the raised rims around the edge, and if you're sanding them and cleaning them up, it is possible that you might flatten them down a bit and make them less sticky outy. So all you need to do, any kind of raised detail like that where you want to make them look crisp again, get your scribing tool and just run it along the corner of that raised detail. You're not actually raising it up, you're just scribing a line along the edge of it, the base of it. So although you're not actually raising it up, it's making that edge a bit more crisp. It casts a shadow and it looks more like a defined crisp line. Because you can never put back what you sanded away, but you can trick the eye into thinking that it's still
exactly
a distinct and raised strap, especially when you've got like a raised rim like around the edge of these barrels and things. It just helps do that. So when you put a wash on that, it'll collect in that recess and you'll have a nice crisp.
Just adds a little bit of detail to it, doesn't it? A bit of authenticity.
Yeah. It just means you can get that little shadow back along the edge of it where it looks a bit flat otherwise because you've sanded it smooth. Don't do this on clear canopies because that will be a really stupid idea. Because you'll just scratch your canopy. Or risk scratching your canopy.
Yeah, that'll end in tears, that will, mate.
But like if you've got a figure with, say, he's got some straps or belts or webbing or something on him and you've sanded him a bit and you've sanded it a bit flat and it tends to fade, just drag it down the edges and it'll pop that little bit of definition back. And then a little bit of extra thin to get rid of all my sanding marks.
Absolutely.
Just a damp extra thin brush and just run it over to get rid of it.
Just tidies everything back up, doesn't it?
Yeah. Any kind of little fluffy bits of plastic and stuff. Tiny little scratches. Cleans it all away. Cleans it all away.
Cleans it all away.
And away.
Angus says that will help hold the wash fox. He says, great idea.
Yeah.
This is because he's a guru. I keep telling you.
Oh, shut up. Nonsense. But yeah, anything like that, like a raised detail, like a belt or a strap, or anything like that that's gone a bit soft around the edges, just give it a little score around. You're just scoring the edges of it, basically. Yeah. It's all in the name of...
Just redefining one's panel lines.
Oh, yes. Redefining one's pants. Wait, what?
I tend to do it on all my car builds. I go round all the door shuts with the scraper just to make it a bit deeper, because once you've applied multiple layers of paint, you can lose a bit of that detail. So
yeah, it all makes it come good. Yeah. Now I actually put some glue on this first back, so I need to do that again.
Oh, you're good, you are.
Well,
Did I tell you you're good?
I forgot to do the scrapey on this one, so I've let the glue dry for a little bit.
Yeah.
I was going to say something then, and it was going to be hilarious, but I've got no idea what it was now.
Don't forget, folks, question of the week. What is in the belly? What is on the bench? And what is your beverage of choice? Yes, folks.
And this week, an extra question. Who is your father and what does he do?
Yeah.
You've not watched that film, though, so you can't laugh at that.
No.
How can you have not watched Kindergarten Cop? How can you have lived through the 90s and not watched Kindergarten Cop? You're not normal.
I know I'm not.
You're not normal.
I know.
How can you have lived through the 90s and not watched every single Arnie film?
Yeah, but I've got Claptrap on my bench.
Well, yeah, that's acceptable.
Yeah, I'm back in your good books now, aren't I? Eh?
But it still doesn't get you out of not watching all the Arnie films in the 1990s.
Yeah.
I mean, if you've not watched all the Sylvester Stallone films, that's fine, because he kind of sucks. But Arnie films, there's no excuse.
Just didn't float my boat.
Yeah. Now, I'm not being too fussy with these barrels, because these are fuel barrels, and if you look on the back of any real-world tank, the fuel barrels are quickly replaced when the fuel runs out. So they're going to be battered, old, scruffy barrels. They're not going to be like...
Yeah, not going to be pristine new ones.
Yeah, you put it on the back of the tank, and when it empties, you just... The clampy bit opens, you pop the barrel off, and you put a new barrel on. Sometimes. Yeah. Sometimes. Not always, but sometimes they're replaceable. So they're going to be... I often wonder why tanks have that, you know. Do you know why tanks have fuel barrels on the back?
No.
It's so that if the fuel is ignited, say, with a
they can eject it, yeah.
Well, it just explodes, but it explodes outside the tank.
Yeah. Good shout.
Because, as we found in recent history...
Oh, you clean that up. Yeah.
Yeah, having lots of flammable and explosive stuff inside a poorly designed tank can lead to rather catastrophic explosions.
Can lead to turret ejections.
Yes, flying lessons, impromptu flying lessons. So, yeah, having the fuel on the back, if it gets hit and it blows, it doesn't actually kill everybody inside the tank.
That makes sense.
Theoretically. Of course, it also helps if you don't have a really crap tank.
Yeah. Other tanks are available.
Yes. Right, so I've cleaned those up. Oh no, I've not done the ends of that one yet. Or is it that one? That one. Got to clean my ends up.
But it is
Gentlemen.
one of those things. It's the first thing we do whenever we do a baneblade, but it can make or break the kit. May sound really daft, but me and him are known for looking at baneblades going, oh, could have done them barrel seams. Even someone who's highly respected didn't do the seams on a barrel.
Yes, a professional Warhammer paintery television video painting who shall remain unnamed.
Yeah.
You know who you mean. Even he didn't fill in the barrels.
And we were shocked. We were shocked, mate, weren't
I wrote to points of view. I was disgusted.
we? Yeah. Points of view.
Dear Terry Morgan.
Athol says his belly was 4 hours ago and was Kellogg's Frosties. Oh, I didn't realise they were still going. Used by,
Kellogg's?
he said, used by February 22 with a shredded banana covered in banana milk. Bench is Orc Bikes ×6 plus a trike. Angus Allott has just had lasagna and beer and half a bag of cheese cold chips. Bench is preparing for Festa's 2023 even. Group build with a tank on it. Good man.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people have got in touch with me this week saying that they're looking forward to that starting. So, yes, folks.
I ran out of Worcester sauce the other day.
No.
You'll see why this is relevant. It was one of the big bottles, and I came to the end of it. I thought, oh well, we actually got two when we bought it. We got two.
Yeah.
So, right, I'll go and get the other one. And I got the other one and noticed suddenly to my horror that it ran out like a year and a half ago. And I'm like, hang on, that means the one we've been using ran out a year and a half ago.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with
that. But none of us has died yet, so
No, that's it. It's.
I erred on the side of caution, threw it away. But
Yeah, no, I tend to. If it's something like, obviously, cold meats or things like that, fine. But when it's something like a preservative, the clue's in the name, innit? It's like,
yeah. See, here's the question I've got, though, that I genuinely don't know, and if people can tell me this, I'd love to know. We've got bins for recycling, right? And we've got a specific bin for bottles and jars.
Yes.
And tins. Now, here's the problem. When you get things like a bottle of Worcester sauce or bottles of sweet chili or some bottles of soy sauce, they have those tops that you can't get off.
Yeah.
Like, you get like a bottle of, I don't know, say, soy sauce, and you can just unscrew the plastic top and throw it away, and then you can recycle the bottle. What do you do when you get a glass bottle that you can't get the top off because it's like it's immovable? I never figured out what you're supposed to do with it.
Well, when they recycle it, they get ejected anyway, don't they, as waste matter or burnt up when they melt the glass down. So
I hope so, because it always says like remove any lids and stuff. It's like,
I have a pair of cutters like that I just cut the band.
Oh, well, these things is like big, like Worcester sauce. It's like big, thick plastic.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah,
I'm too feeble to get that off.
But when they when they recycle and remelt the glass or reconstitute it, whatever you want to call it, that'll all melt down, mate.
Good, because it was messing with my recycling chi.
Keith is in. Greetings from damp Devon. Hello, mate. How you doing, Keith?
All right, my barber. I know that's not a Devon accent, but that's what you get, all right? You get what you're given, all right?
He's a man of many accents, and none of them are Devon.
I'm a storyteller. I'm going to put my bum on. Oh, I'm going to drop my screws.
Oh, you're gluing on his Harry, are you?
My tank needs its bum.
Yeah.
And I have to hope, because I didn't put this on, I have to hope it actually fits, because I'll be a bit knackered if it doesn't.
Especially if the sides have gone in a tad, mate. Yeah, this could end in tears, folks.
I looked at it and I thought, have those sides gone in? It was seen I put these tubes on the back. I'm like, this could be interesting.
Yeah. Luckily, there is a bit of wiggle room, though.
Yeah, it's called faucet.
Yeah, that's what I did on mine.
It's called push it.
Yeah, it's like, if in doubt, just give it a bit of welly.
Just sit there going, push Mo, pushing.
Yeah, give it a bit of welly, folks.
And then once I've done that, I can put these 4 bits on the front and back, and then that sprue can be thrown away into the heart of the sun. Or
yeah, you're doing beatbox again, are you? He's good.
I learned everything. I learned everything I know about beatbox from you, Festa.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I may have been doing beatbox again before we went live.
Yeah. Handy tip, peeps. Tell Festa not to do so. If you want Festa to do something and do it habitually, tell him not to do it.
Yeah.
Or rather, ask him to do it. He'll go no, and then he'll start doing it eventually. I was always like, Festa, try some beatbox. No. Try some beatbox. No. Now he does it without thinking.
Yeah, I steadfastly to refuse ever to do beatbox. And then he says, you're doing beatbox. I was like, no, I'm not. Yeah, I was.
Now he does it without even realising he's doing it.
No, not on, is it?
No, it's brilliant.
He messes with me. That's what he does. He does it all deliberately, folks.
You've got so much chi that I can't resist messing with it. No, I don't believe in chi. Before anybody asks.
Yeah, he does like messing with me.
Well, he just
he
so
said
messable.
to me about a year ago, he said, I look forward to the day, he said, when I see an Xbox on your bench. And I said, there will never be an Xbox on this bench. Yeah.
You when it comes to like messability, you're like the most strokeable puppy. Like you can't resist petting them. Like you see a fluffy puppy, you're gonna pet it no matter how hard you try not to.
Yeah.
With Colin, you see Colin, you think I can mess with that.
I am the one at the dog kennel with his tail down and the largest puppy dog eyes you can imagine.
Yeah, you look at Colin, you think I can so mess with that because he'll fall for anything. The thing with you, Colin, is you're a smart guy, but bless you, you fall for anything sometimes.
Oh, absolutely. I just think they wouldn't tell me Polky Pies, so it must be true. And Gullible is my middle name.
Just being smart doesn't mean you're not stupid.
No.
I'm evidence of that.
I love being stupid.
I fall for anything, man. I'm so gullible.
Because people don't expect me to be an adult then. They go, you're too stupid to be an adult. Yeah. Move on.
Here, let me do this complex, tedious task because you can't be trusted with it. Okay, that's fine by me.
Absolutely. Got me out of a multitude of sins, mate.
It's like, Colin, can you clear the drains out? Well, actually, no, wait, I'll do it. Okay. Yeah. Happy days.
Cole, what? Go and film yourself touching Ellen's white appliances. Yeah, okay. And then send me the footage. Yeah, of course I will.
What could possibly go wrong with that? I can't see anything wrong with it. Oh.
Yeah, and it's like, damn, he's got ammo on me now.
Right, now send me £500. Wait, oh. Bless. Don't ever change, buddy.
I fully intend never to change, mate.
If you change, I'm out of income, so... Shh.
Yeah. Al says, what was the paint you was talking about with Fox before the show went belly up? Colour contrast paint, mate. It's stuff that I used to weigh out and measure myself back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but now I suppose with the rules and the regulations on things, you can't get a lot of these sort of things. That's basically how I used to do my paints. It was packets of pigment, and you used to weigh it on a set of micro scales for all your paint. But now it's all done on computer programs and stuff, and paint pigment powder, because of its breathability and toxicity, is a thing of the past, mate.
Yes.
So yeah, you can't get it. Computer, stop. You can't get it now. It's because I said the C word, see?
You know what else you can't get?
What?
No satisfaction is what you can't get.
I see what you did there.
Now, is this going to fit, or is it going to fit with some shifting? Let's have a look.
Angus says Worcester sauce has a shelf life of 1 to 5 to 3 years and easily lasts months past the date. Once opened, it keeps for about a year in the pantry and 3 years in the fridge. He said it is safe to use longer.
Well, if I'd known that, I could have saved myself 10 minutes of trying to empty the damn bottle, because if you think about it, the bottle has this tiny little hole at the top and you can't get the lid off. So to empty an entire bottle, you have to sit there going like this for like 10 minutes with the
He said the key word there, though, pantry. Now, I can remember as a kid going in my mum's pantry cupboard and there was everything in there, foodstuffs. And it used to keep. Why is it now, with all the modern technology and all of that lot, you buy something in your shopping and you've literally only got 3 or 4 days to eat it?
Well, it's because in those days, we ate dirt and got diseases.
Yeah.
We just didn't know it. But also, it probably was that your mum went out and bought more you didn't realise.
Yeah, but
because when we were little kids, shopping wasn't a thing we cared about or knew about.
Yeah, but it's one of them, innit? The pantry cupboard, you know. I can remember cured pork and all of that stuff hanging up, cheeses, tins of this and packets of that, and yeah.
See, our pantry was a bit different when we used to have a pantry. It was under the stairs pantry. And it was just like coats, jackets, and Dad's winemaking kit that he never really used.
Yeah.
Did anybody else have to suffer like homemade carrot wine?
Yeah, dandelion and burdock and all of that.
Yeah, my parents went through let's go and get a load of winemaking stuff.
Yeah.
I think because they'd probably seen The Good Life and decided to go and...
Yeah.
I can confirm that
punch.
Yeah, you can't really... Well, I suppose you can make that. No, this was the proper, like, the big carboys and the tubes and pipes with the bubbles going through it. I remember them all.
My mum was pretty damn mean at making sloe gin, mate.
Oh, yeah.
She was a dab hand at that, mate.
I think my mum and dad made that at some point.
Yeah. If she'd had her way, my mum, I think she would have been a proper moonshiner with a steel and everything, mate. She used to be well good at all of that.
Yeah. When she wasn't beating up wrestlers.
Yeah. But she always was brewing her own wines and things and dishing them out to the neighbours, and they would have tasting sessions, which basically ended up with a gaggle of women dancing on the lounge table because they were so drunk.
Yeah, tasting sessions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it all could start off very cordial, and then, it would soon degenerate. And, of course, I remind my dear old mum of them days, and she's in full denial.
I can confirm my bum did fit.
Yeah.
With a little persuasion.
Yeah. Oh, bless.
There we go.
Yeah.
I just had to squeeze one end out a little bit to make it go in, which means it's a nice tight fit.
Yeah, my mum did have a penchant for beating up wrestlers, bless her.
A penchant, you say?
Penchant, yeah, I know. I could leave with me penchant words of wisdom. Right, let's bung that away.
What was the other guy in Chips called? See what I did there?
Yeah, Larry, wasn't it? Or was that the bloke who played
That was the actor. That was the actor.
Larry
Apparently,
Wilcox, wasn't it? Yeah.
Oddly enough, I was actually reading about Chips here. You know, like when you read something on the internet.
Yeah.
And then it starts you thinking about something else, and you end up half an hour later on Google looking up some weird arcane nonsense. I was reading, I can't remember what I was reading, but I was reading something, and all of a sudden I'm suddenly surfing for information about Chips. The TV. I don't know why. I wasn't reading about Chips. Apparently they didn't get on together that well together.
No.
They weren't the best of mates.
That's
they were all right, but they weren't like best of buds.
I can imagine Mr. Estrada was, how can we say, a bit of a diva?
No, I don't know about that. I don't know.
Don't know, just had that look about him, didn't he? Of being a bit of a spoon.
Yes. It's funny when Adam Savage talks about him and Jamie, and he says, you know, we're not friends. We don't hang around after we finish film. We don't hang around and go to each other's houses and go out for meals and stuff. We're not friends.
No.
And it's weird when you see like an established double act in a TV show, then in reality they're jobbing.
Yeah, that's it. It's their job of work, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean they said we knew each other and professionally, and we get on. They said we're not friends. We don't hang around.
Yeah, but sometimes that's the best way, isn't it? It's what makes it work.
I think if you and I lived locally to each other, we'd probably be mates, hanging out.
Oh, yeah, could you imagine the shenanigans?
Oh,
We're
yeah,
a bit
'cause we
like you and Tony. You
Yeah.
know, we do goon around, you know. Look at the chaos we caused at eModels.
Absolutely. It's just the order of things.
You know, and we had never met before that. Yeah, it degenerated into childlike schoolboy behaviour within minutes. Poor Pete. He didn't know what to do because customers were walking in and we was going, oh, perfect. Everything's free today. We're giving everything away. And Pete was like, yeah, it was, yeah, we pretty much destroyed Pete's inner Pete in minutes.
We destroyed his inner peace.
Yeah, he's like, please don't say that. It's like, yeah.
Everything's free today and you get a cup of tea.
Yeah. Amount of cups of tea that were getting dished out. Pete's like, it's mad. This lot of nuts.
Or if you hate yourself, Fox will make you a cup of coffee. A cup of tea even.
And then Tony arrived and it got even worse, didn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Right, that's one sprue finished.
Well, you didn't know I was going, did you? Because I'd only just started as a builder then, and I'd just literally started the cat build. And I'd arranged with Chris to come and get me. And we just didn't announce that I was going, and we gave Pete the finished build, because episode 1 had only just gone out, hadn't it, back then?
Yeah.
And, yeah, so, of course, Fox was like, who's that rather large bloke over there who's on them funny stick things? Because you didn't realise, did you, that that's how I got about? It threw you at first, didn't it?
Yeah. Well, plus he turned up with Chris, and I was fully expecting Chris, but I didn't know. I thought, who's Chris brought with him?
Yeah. So...
Because you got out of the car, and I thought, that's not Chris. What?
Yeah.
That's not what Chris looks like at all.
Yeah, Chris isn't that tall. Yeah.
Chris isn't more than 2 feet tall.
Yeah.
That's the funny thing, you see. Chris, we always mock Chris for being tiny. He's actually he's like 5 foot, well, I don't know, whatever. He's normal size.
Yeah.
But it all stems from the fact that his mate Paul, who you see occasionally, used to do our gaming streams with us, he posted up a photograph. They both go to this archery club.
Yeah.
And Paul and Chris are the best of mates. And they posted this photograph. They said, we've got a guy in archery club that we call Hodor, because he's like about 18 foot tall and 18 foot wide, and he's massive. And he showed a photograph of this guy giving Chris a big hug, because Chris is a right hugger.
Yeah.
And this guy was so enormous that he made Chris look about 3 foot tall.
Yeah.
That's why they called him Hodor. So from that point, we've always described Chris as tiny. Like
Chris and Paul do like a hug, don't they?
Yeah, they're right little huggers.
Yeah, they do like a man hug.
Oh yeah. If you ever meet Chris or Paul, make sure you take extra ribs.
Yeah, Paul comes across and he flies across the yard at you. It's like someone's launched a missile.
Yeah. I'm just doing me toe hooks and my little bit on the back.
Isn't that funny? We're both sitting here making the toe hooks.
Yeah, and there's the little bit that goes on the back that nobody really knows what it is, and I don't know why it's a separate part, but it's cool.
Yeah.
This little tiny bit that goes on the back. And then what I might do is make a little plastic card shenanigan to cover up that gap on the front panel.
Ah, you're adding bits, are you?
No, that's what I said. That's what I said earlier. Apart from like little bits of plastic card to fill gaps here and there, there's nothing.
Goalposts have moved.
No, when I was talking about filling in gaps and stuff like that, and I said that the barrels is one of the few bits.
Does that mean I can add things then?
No, because this is an alternative to using putty as a filler.
Oh, right. It's not an embellishment then.
It's a gap filling, and the rivets I'll put on it are just to make it blend in. So.
Did you notice I was there straight away? I was there.
Yeah.
Primed and ready.
Yeah, I saw you had your bus conductor's cap on and your little pencil moustache. Oh,
I gotta get you back.
See what I did there? I like the fact there's only a few people in the world that would have got that when I said that.
Yeah. Yeah, 35-year career he made out of going.
Gurning and doing that stupid face.
Yeah.
Acting skills, none.
Well, it's like the other one who used to be in the Carry On films, made a 40-year career out of twitching. Bloody hell, I'd be brilliant at that. Hire me tomorrow. I can play twitchy, man.
Absolutely.
I'll do it for half the price. He's cheap as chips. He's cheap as chips.
Cheap as chips. I know chips aren't that cheap anymore.
I saw what you did there. You tried to get me on shrinkflation, didn't you?
I said no words at all.
Damn.
What shrinkflation?
Don't know, mate. It's a myth. I've heard it's a thing.
Have you? What have you heard about it?
Not a lot.
Ah, so you've heard some then?
That would be an ecumenical matter. See what I did. See what I did.
Give it 5 minutes, folks. You'll be off. You'll be in it.
Yeah. Jack
You'll
Douglas.
be in it in a minute. Hey?
Jack Douglas, says Jeff. Yeah, that's the
Yeah,
one.
Jack Douglas.
Get hold of that, my son.
Jeff like to remember the large marble shelf in my mum's larder/pantry.
Yeah. Big slab of marble. Cool, yeah, now you're talking. I remember my mum's big old butcher's bread bowl and all. Go and get me bread bowl. It weighed about 300 weight, this thing.
I think our pantry mostly had like jackets and shoes.
Yeah.
And like tins of golden syrup and camp coffee. Because we had like an old, like crappy 1930s French dresser type cupboard in the kitchen for jars and bottles.
Yeah,
and stuff.
yeah, I know the one, yeah.
The doors don't quite fit properly, and it was blue, that kind of like 1970s light Gulf blue, eggshell blue.
Yeah.
Shiny eggshell blue.
Yeah.
Everything was gloss in the 70s.
Using all that war paint, weren't they? Basically, you know, it was either magnolia, olive drab, or navy blue.
Yeah.
Oh, look, it's sea grey. I wonder where they got that from.
Keith says, talking about drawing lines on barrels, etc. I've tried ammo putty surface and it's brilliant, but very smelly. Must have ventilation.
Yeah, I've heard it's really potent stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. If it's solvent based, it will have a big smell on it. But this is the thing, like for things like these barrels that I've just done, and I was saying this to and somebody put a comment on one of my videos the other day about using filler and stuff, where I'd done the squishy glue method.
Yeah.
And I was saying there's nothing wrong with using fillers and putties and things for like, you know, gaps and things. But if you can actually, I was talking about sprue glue actually, if you can fill the gap with the kit's own plastic or with sprue glue, which is just polystyrene, then A, it's a lot easier because you're not having to mess around with putty, but B, you're actually making and reinforcing the gap. You're putting more polystyrene in the gap where there's none. If you're putting filler in there, it's a mechanical. It's there by the grace of God, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You could easily pop it out. It's just a lot less. But with doing the squishy glue method with these barrels, squish them together and glue them, you've got the plastic bubbling up.
Because on a molecular level, they're the same consistency or constitution, aren't they?
Yeah.
God, dear, look at me getting all science.
I know, consistency. But the thing is like, you're going to glue these two halves together, so you're going to put glue in that gap, so why not just squish them together, let the plastic bubble up, and then you can file it back. There you go, done. You don't need to use filler. Not all. For big gaps you do, but for little tiny hairline gaps, just get some extra thin, give it 5 seconds, squish it together, done. No filler required.
Oh, yeah.
And when I was like scribing back those the edges of those straps, the advantage with using any kind of like the kit's own plastic or sprue glue is that when you scribe it, it behaves the same as the rest of the kit. Whereas if you scribe a putty, it's different consistency. Some are powdery, some don't scribe very well. So I'll always go for the route that gives me the best results with the least effort.
Oh yeah, that makes logical sense though, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, if I can do 10% of the work but get exactly the same result, I'll do 10% of the work. Blakey was also in Only When I Laugh and Last of the Summer Wine.
That was it, yeah.
I'm sure
he was
briefly in that as well.
Yeah,
I'm sure he's in something else.
He used to appear on all the chat shows, didn't he? Mortimer Wise and that. As Blakey, it's like.
Angus Allett says chipflation.
I see what he did there.
Yeah. Magnum ice creams have gone from 4 to 3 for the same price, says Keith.
No.
Yeah.
Robin, oh, really? Yeah, don't you dare go quiet, you. I'm not going to go on a shrinkflation rant.
I'm sanding. I'm
see
cleaning up
what
a
you're
mold line.
doing.
I'm just reading out the chat comments. The fact that they know how to press all your buttons and where your buttons are and how much pressing they need is nothing to do with me.
It's a conspiracy. That's what it is.
Like a book. Like a book. Paul Di Tommaso says, yep, the price of everything is skyrocketing.
It certainly is, mate.
Including the cost of skyrockets, it would seem.
Well, they've blamed everything over here, from Brexit to the Velociraptor to, yeah. And it's like, look, it's price gouging. Just admit it. You're seeing a chance of making some profit out of the working men. Bang out of order. I'm not going to have a wibble because...
Carl.
It just makes you mad, doesn't it?
You've already started, mate.
It's building up. It's building up. I can feel it.
I love the chat because they know exactly how to press your buttons. This is why as soon as somebody mentions shrinkflation, I just stop talking about it because I know you'll be back on it within a minute.
It's like the tumbleweed is employed, and it's like you've all set me up again, you rotters.
Yeah, because I know it'll come out eventually.
I cleaned that up, didn't I, mate?
Yeah. Paul says he went to a model show on Sunday, picked up a Bandai Star Wars ATST for $25, also got 6 jars of Tamiya paints for $10.
Oh, nice one. Happy days. All right, we got that to go on its rump and all.
Bum things.
90% of people probably forget to put that on, but...
What's that little tiny widget that goes on the back?
Yeah, the little widget with the pipe poking out.
I'm not quite sure what that is. It's like, is it a little light?
I think it's a what's his name light?
Little formation light or something.
Yeah, it's a little formation light with a grill round it, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's interesting the fact that they do it as a separate bit just to.
Yeah, at first I thought it was some kind of vent, but looking at it, it may well be a light that's in there because it's got that grill effect around it, isn't it?
And you have to wonder, did they put that on there just to fill the space on the sprue?
Al says he's Colin the new Alf Garnett. Well, I'm bold, Larry, and support West Ham. What do you think?
Yeah.
But then, yeah. Alf Garnett was a bit of a racist, whereas I'm not.
Yeah, you're Alf Garnett without the racism and prejudice.
Yeah, because, I don't do any of that.
Homophobia.
Yeah, it's like, really? Come on.
I've gone it without all the bad personality traits.
Yeah. My missus will say, your inner Alf is getting loud.
Yep.
Angus Alex says, how much for a pint now? I wouldn't know, mate, because I'm teetotal, mate. So I wouldn't have a Scooby, mate.
I haven't been to the pub in a long time. I don't know. 3 or 4 quid, maybe?
Yes.
I've no idea.
Someone told me recently the price for a packet of 20 cigarettes, and I was gobsmacked.
Oh, yeah, it's like 15 quid now.
15 quid for a packet of smokes.
Yeah, it's good because it stops people smoking or makes them stop. Although, to be fair, given the fact that a lot of smokers now are the poor, it's probably slightly a bit of a trauma and unfair tax. But at the same time, if it forces them to not smoke.
Well, they even went to the thing of rebranding a particular tobacco over it because 90% of people were smoking the imported variant, weren't they?
Yeah.
Because, we all know a mate that knows a mate that's a lorry driver, and
Yeah. Although, to be fair, you get your imported cigarettes that somebody's brought back from somewhere or other. Dear God, some of the ones that you've never heard of, it's like smoking ground up bicycle tyres. It was like, oh God.
Oh, yeah.
I used to smoke. I haven't smoked in 5 years now, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, I used to smoke.
Yeah. It's quite funny, isn't it? The pair of us gave up within a year of each other, and it's surprising, it doesn't register now that I used to smoke. Yeah. It's really weird.
I get the occasional like, ooh, I could just, but
yeah,
other than that,
I still get the urge, it's like,
not like a craving.
Yeah.
But it's like looking at a picture of a delicious slice of cake or a piece of steak. Yeah. Like, I could just go for one of those.
Well, I used to like a fag and a think, wouldn't it? It was mulling. Yeah. You'd sit and roll a smoke and have a a mull, mid-model build or whatever. But
I used to use it as a motivational thing. I'll do this bit and then I'll have a cigarette.
yeah.
But yeah, I'd stopped 5 years ago.
Back in the day when our hand used to disappear to the left, it's because we was reaching for the combusting cigarette in our ashtray.
Yeah, that bit where I say, right, let's read some chat for about as long as it takes to smoke a cigarette.
Yeah.
It's funny that.
Yeah, it just
So you'd see our
smoke suddenly appear, and it was like, yeah.
Well, you'd see how like one hand would be like on the bench, clearly visible, the other hand would be out of view, and you'd hear, I'd be there, and I'd try to blow the smoke away from the camera, so it'd be like, you might hear a little delicate, as I'm trying to blow it out the corner of my mouth. It's the kind of thing. If there was no health downside to smoking, it'd be great, but there is, so I can't.
Yeah.
If it was completely harmless and not bad in any way, then I'd be like, yeah, I'll go back to smoking. But it's not, so you can't.
I miss the habitual behaviour of it.
Yeah. I had to stop because Mama Wolf had to stop, and it's not fair. If I was smoking,
stopped because of all the metal fusions I was having in my spine. It was they stand a lot better chance of taking if you didn't smoke. So I thought they've gone to all this effort to help me. The least I can do is try.
Yeah.
So that was it. And that's 7 years ago now.
Yep. God, that means mine must be 6. 7
Oh, yeah.
as well. Good God. Good God, man.
Yeah. Atol says 50 grams of Riverstone is £24.30. Bloody hell, mate.
Yeah.
Shocking, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, if they could invent a form of smoking now that was in no way at all harmful, I'd be in there like a shot if it wasn't expensive.
Well, yeah,
I mean, like, you know what? I used to enjoy it.
I used a vape for a month, but I don't even use that. You know, it was
all the people that go on about vaping's harmless, because putting anything in your lungs is not harmless.
The only thing that I miss about smoking is obviously having MS. I miss my Moroccan tobacco, if you know what I mean.
Yes, your special blends.
My special blends of Jamaican-style tobacco. Other blends are available. I miss that because it helped with my symptoms, so to speak. But I know that if I was to partake, I would end up smoking again. So, yeah, we'll leave that one there to your imagination, folks.
I'm just going to see what it is. Let's have a look.
Congrats, says Collie. Fox says Lynn. Yes, Lynn, it seems strange, love, doesn't it, that we used to smoke? It just don't seem thing, you know. I find it strange. There was a show that I was on and I caught a glimpse of the smoke just coming across from the left, and I thought, oh, what's that? And it then dawned on me, I used to smoke back then.
Yeah.
Totally
I was just checking what the helicopter was that flew over. Because
you've got the flight app. Yeah, I do that when all the Chinooks and that are coming over. And
well, I use the big like flight radar one, but more often than not, it doesn't show small time stuff. So I use
the military stuff tends not to be on there. So
no, I mean this one, it's like little. It doesn't show everything, especially around here for some reason. So I've got actually a little one, which is some like local weather channel. But they've got a UK flight tracker, which is the same, but it shows anything that goes near this house. It shows it instantly. So
happy days.
Yeah, I don't know. I always like, because sometimes we'll get one that goes over that sounds really bad. Like they need to maintain that helicopter, dude.
Well, I like to know what's going on. You know, it's like I want to know what's going on over there. And
you're just a meerkat, though, aren't you?
I am.
You're like a gopher popping your head up. Alan.
Well, yeah, I mean, we've got the RAF base nearby, and we get, obviously, especially at the moment, there's a lot of activity, and I get curious. I'm like, cool, that's a lot of flights gone over today. They're obviously getting ready for summer. And that's it then. Your brain starts going, doesn't it? And you're like, yeah.
My brain's been going for years, love. Right, Where's that on the camera? That's the, okay.
Paul D. Tommaso says, I used to smoke. He vaped to replace it and eventually quit smoking. He's got no urges now. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, Keith says, I've never smoked, but Sue has 5 a day. It helps her psoriasis. Yeah, I can imagine that.
I'm building my top bits.
Angus says, surprising you can't get Moroccan jelly babies on prescription in the UK. Yeah, you can get oils of a certain variety, but I was part, when I used to smoke, I was part of a trial with a university where they was researching the medical benefits of certain blends of smokable material, should we say.
Yes.
And used to get sent it. And that was the irony of it. It was quite funny, really. But again, you could only have a certain amount, because if you had more than that, it was deemed that you was dealing, not, So, so you was allowed a particular quantity. Only. Yeah, that was it. Personal use. That was the word I was thinking of. But yeah. Oh, it does seem strange, but yeah, I do. That's the only thing I miss, if I'm honest. But it used to help me. Relax enough so that I could sleep, and my sleep pattern's been shot ever since. So, if there was a substitutional way of doing it without, the health risks, then I would look at it. But
yes. Right, put that to one side. I've just realised I've not cleaned off the mould line, the gaps yet on those bits of the track there. I need to clean that later.
Yeah, you used to have your vaping oils, should we say. Now, try not to say what I mean, but...
Yes.
Again, I don't vape now because, it was like, well, that's just the same to me as smoking, so...
It's just as harmful, let's be honest.
Yeah, so I didn't want popcorn lungs, so I thought, well, yeah.
Let's be honest,
Model Minja's in the chat saying hello. Hello, Ross. Yes,
hello,
mate. Ross.
I was going to say, ultimately, at the end of the day, anything in your lungs that isn't breathable air is doing harm.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what it is. Doesn't matter what excuse is. If it's not air, it shouldn't be there.
Yeah.
So.
And it's funny, I used to always have quite an aggressive smoker's cough. And if I got chest infection after chest infection all through the year, and since I packed up, I've had none of that.
Yeah.
I've had no smoker's cough, because obviously I don't smoke, but I haven't been going down with all these chest affections, and I had a bad bout of pneumonia about a year before I stopped smoking, and that was that little bit of a frightener that you need. And then when Richard, who did my spine, said about totally packing up to aid the fusion, it was like, yeah,
no brainer. I mean, I'll admit that since I stopped smoking, it's nice to wake up in the morning and not be like have a rattle or a wheeze when I breathe.
Hacking away like a 90-year-old.
Yeah. I mean, I've got a bit of a tickly cough at the minute, but that's medication related. It's not anything else. But that's just a tickly cough. It's not like a smoker's cough. But yeah, getting rid of the waking up and going every time I took a breath was like, wow. I really, you breathe out and there's like this sort of rattle wheeze that carries on for an extra 10 seconds. You're like, that's not.
You walk up the stairs and you can hear it rasping in your chest, and it's like,
yeah, and you're like, yeah.
And your answer was, I'll have a fag. That'll get rid of it. So you'd have a fag and a cough to make you feel better. How's that work?
Yeah.
So, yeah. Helen's certainly a lot happier because, like she said, you used to get so rough with it, with your chest. She said it used to frighten the life out of her, so she's much happier. And yet, all that time, she wasn't one of them spouses that demanded I stop. She used to say, it's up to you. I'd prefer it if you didn't, but the choice is yours.
Yeah,
sorry, mate.
Lynn says, try Flight Radar 24. That's the one that I...
that's the one that doesn't...
Yeah, that's the one that doesn't show all the flights for me. It shows big one, but little tiny local things like charter flight, it doesn't show them. So, but this little weather channel that's from like Portsmouth somewhere, I don't know where they get their data from, but it shows more than Flight Radar 24, bizarrely.
The thing that unsettled me about the Flight Radar 24 was when the Queen died, you could track the King's flight all the way from Aberdeen back to London when he flew back to London to do all the legislative stuff for the constitutional changes. And I thought, how dangerous is that, being able to track the King's flight?
I mean, I suppose it's no more dangerous than if he was in a car, because there'd probably be a way to track a car. But
it's like the young fella in America that has the app Elon's Jet, isn't it? And you can find out wherever Elon Musk's private jet is, and that's quite shocking in a way, isn't it? Because if someone had sinister motive,
yeah, I mean, I assume it's the same for things like if the Prime Minister charters a flight, then that'll be, because if it's non-military, it's publicly available information on the flight logs, isn't it? So
yeah, that's the only reason it was publicly available, is because it was a friend of a friend's plane, wasn't it?
Yeah.
In other words, he called in a favour, grace or favour.
Yeah.
Someone else who will get a peerage, but we won't get into that because that's political, Cole.
I suppose if the royal family had their own private flights, they could block them. But if it's just a civilian, then
yeah. Well, Musk has tried to buy out the guy's site, and the guy's like, nah. It's public information, mate.
Yeah.
You sell Twitter, and I'll sell you it. Yeah.
But it is fascinating to, you hear something going overhead and I'm like, oh, what's that? It's only when it sounds like weird, like if the engine sounds a bit shonky, or I don't recognise the helicopter sound or the plane sound. The funny thing that gets me is, it's been interesting since I got it, because for my entire life, I live not close to, but maybe several miles from Manchester Airport. So there's always been this noise of air traffic in my life in the background in this house.
Yeah.
And it's not overbearing, although a friend once came to visit and he's like, how do you get on with all that noise all the time? I'm like, what noise? Because I'm used to hearing it. But so it's distant noises of planes.
Yeah.
But it was interesting because I've always heard there's always a small group of sounds. It's that's a jet engine, that's a jet taking off, that's a big jet landing. And you could sometimes tell, oh, that's a big propeller plane, because it sounds but sometimes there were noises that you didn't know what they were. And it's interesting now that I can pin down and say, right, when I hear that noise, it's one of those dirty, great big Ryanair propeller planes with 4 engines sitting there idling on the runway, because I can look and see what it is.
Yeah.
So now I can identify all the different noises. Oh, that noise I've heard all my life, it's one of those. Oh, cool. And it was, I was sat here one day, a couple of years ago, and it was I could hear this noise, and it sounded like this sort of, a propeller plane on the strip waiting to take off. And again, this is a long way away, so it's a big plane.
Yeah.
But it sounded really quite loud. I'm like, what the hell is that? It sounds like a prop plane, but it's just round the corner. Turns out it was one of them big Antonov.
Oh yeah.
The Maria, the Maria or whatever it's called. The one that was destroyed.
Yeah.
It was one of them on the runway at Manchester Airport waiting to take off, and I was like, wow, that's loud, because I can hear it here 4 or 5 miles away. It's amazing. And the good thing is on that, you can even see the vehicles, the support vehicles on the runway. You can track them as well. I like that.
Yeah.
The mechanic vehicles and the fire tenders and stuff. That's quite cool.
I like watching all the pilots' ITV and all of that,
I have no interest in planes. I'm not like a plane spotter or anything. But
I sat one night on YouTube watching a train start off at Waterloo and go through the Channel Tunnel all the way to Paris. Driver's eye in real time. How sad am I?
It's quite amazing with this internet that we have. That when you sat there and it's say late at night and it's too late to start something, but you're not ready to go to bed and you can't be bothered doing anything. It's amazing how you find yourself watching some crap that you've never normally watched for an hour. I sat and watched. Oh God, what was he making now? I forgot. I sat and watched a man making a pair of boots for an hour once.
Yeah, I watched the farrier.
You like the farrier stuff.
Yeah, he goes around shoeing horses, and I love all of that. A bit of the old whacking on the anvil, making the old shoes. And I love all of that.
When you say shoeing, you don't mean kicking horses, obviously.
No, I'm
We'll
putting
clear that
shoes
up.
on. Yeah, making the metal. Yeah, no, he's not giving the horse a shoeing. No.
Just got to clear that one up for the viewers.
Yeah, he's
Just go around kicking
making
horses.
he's making feet protection devices. Then.
Yes.
Yeah. And I also watched the little Japanese guy that makes the room within a room. It's like a little light switch in the wall, but he makes a replica of the room that goes in there, and it's all lit up.
Takes the gubbins out.
Yeah, I love all of that.
Oh, yeah.
I really need to get out more, and I'm currently watching or binge watching Night Shift and Laser Art Creations, doing all the diorama stuff. And mate, I'm in the element.
Friends.
My friend. Yeah,
That guy's so cool.
I love all of that stuff.
Yeah. Japanese craftsmen are the best, though.
Skill
Absolutely.
level Japan. That's where it comes from.
Yep.
Often get asked, what is skill level Japan?
If you're a craftsman of any type and you're not Japanese, then you're not as good as Japanese craftsmen are the same.
You're a craftsman.
No one will ever be as good as the Japanese at doing anything crafty or creative.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but whether you're a carpenter or a builder or a model maker or a paint, watchmaker.
They take it to a whole new level, don't they, mate?
Yeah. You could spend your entire life learning. You'll never be as good as a proper Japanese meiji. No. You'll never be a master. Skill level Japan is unattainable unless you're actually in Japan and born in Japan and you are Japanese. And you spent 100 years learning.
Keith's off. Take care, Keith. He says he's got to go and pick the daughter up as it's past its MOT. Good news, mate. Take care,
my
mate.
daughter's
Drive
past
safe.
the MOT.
Yeah.
Take care.
Thanks for popping in and keeping us two company, mate.
Hang
Don't
on a
forget,
minute.
folks, any questions, feel free to ask Fox because he will answer them all.
Hang on a minute. He's got to go and pick his daughter up because I assume her car has passed its MOT.
Yeah.
Can't she drive her car back now it's MOT passed?
She's probably gone home and left the car there, mate, because you can leave the car there. So he's now going over to pick her up.
Oh,
so that
right.
she can
Yeah,
go
that makes
back.
sense.
So yeah,
I was thinking,
this is working with the Fox. You have to explain everything.
I'm thinking, why would he need to go and pick her up if she's got this MOT past? Yeah, she's got to pick her up, take her to the garage to get. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, that confused your brain folds, didn't
I
it?
know. I was like, wait, what?
See, folks. Yeah. A fox isn't just for Christmas; it's for life.
Yeah. Once you've got me, that's it. You're stuck with me. And I demand food all the time.
Wouldn't have you any other way.
Once I'm in your house, that's it. Just leave me near the fridge, and there you go, done.
Yeah.
I'm like the raccoon that you never knew you wanted.
Yes, I remember Jack Hargreaves. I used to love watching Out of Town. Here, Kev, you do realise that you can type in on YouTube Jack Hargreaves, and you will see the odd Out of Town episode on there, mate.
I was watching one about rivers. He was doing one about rivers.
Yeah, I still remember the music.
See, I don't really remember. I don't think I ever watched that when I was younger. So I knew who he was, but I never. Was he in like some of the series, like How?
Yeah,
or
he was
something
in
as well?
How with Fred
That's where I know him
Dinage,
from.
and yeah,
That's where I knew him from.
I remember
I
the
didn't
music
watch
for
his own
that as
stuff.
well.
How?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm putting my bits on.
Fred Dinage, the purveyor of the longest comb over on British television history.
Oh yeah. Oh, I don't know. Frank Boff was good competition for him.
Yeah, you'd never guess, would you?
No.
You'd never know.
Nope.
Yeah, we don't talk about Frank Boff, do we?
Yeah, no.
Yeah. Oh, soft, cuddly and fluffy Frank. Yeah.
No. Let's not go there. Mayhap we should
Slap
scoot
it on. See what I did.
Mayhap we should quick slew motion in the aircraft terms. Season 3 of The Mandalorian is currently running on Disney in Australia.
Oh,
Cool.
nice.
That's the same over here as well. It's everywhere. Season 3. It's very good.
I've watched season 1, that's about it.
You've actually watched a whole season of something. Steady now.
Still haven't watched Boba Fett yet.
It's all right. It's not as good as Mandalorian.
No, I just think it's all been done to death. You know, it's like.
I mean, I'll be honest. I can't actually remember what happened in the Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah.
Really, I can't really remember much about it. So, yeah, it's all right. It's just it's not the Mandalorian.
No.
Season 3 of Picard. That is a real barnstormer. That's going really well. Season 1 and 2. There.
Season 1 of that. I only made it halfway through. It's like, I'm really getting fed up with this now.
Season 3, it's like, right, now they finally figured out how to make Star Trek. Right, let's crack on. Let's do more. Oh, and it's the last season. Oh,
it was like...
Yeah, season 3, it's proper Star Trek now. It's like, right, now we're back in
I started to lose the will to live, to be honest with you. And it was like, season 1 and 2. They forgot how to do Star Trek. They've remembered, thankfully, now. For season 3, we've got a flappy flangey type thing to go on the
flappy flange, gentlemen. Prepare your flapulons.
Get your flappy flanges.
Stefan is in. He says, "Hi, Jeff Light. Sorry, my attention was diverted from the chat."
Hello, mate. How you doing? On a bit of that. And a bit of that. That's the one we want.
Jeff is in. If you wish to make an apple pie from scratch, you must first invent the universe.
Good Carl Sagan there, mate. Better than some of the recent ones.
Yeah. Consider again that dot. That's us. That's here. That's home. On it, everyone you've ever known, everyone you'll ever love, every saint and sinner, every autocrat and tyrant. And I can't remember the exact words, but you know.
Got my eldest into Carl Sagan.
Good, that's the right thing to do.
Because he's a proper space and cosmos nut. He has a full tattoo all the way up his left arm of a big nebula and all of that lot. And
you're a nebula.
I said to him, "Oh, you want to watch this guy?" And I said to him, it's cosmos, blah blah blah. And he was like, "Dude," he said, "it's compulsive, isn't it?" And I went, "Yeah."
How has he never seen Carl Sagan's Cosmos? That's insane.
Yeah, well, it's probably because he's spending too much time on his Xbox.
Well, yeah. He says he.
He's so proud of his dad. He is so proud of me, mate.
Yeah, but you know what will be really funny? All those years that you said, you'd gone to him and said, "Look at you sitting there all day on your video Game Boy box station with your shooting and your nonsense. Get a life." And then a year from now, you'd be like, "I game for 12 hours a day."
Nah, that never bothered me, really. It used to bother H a lot more than it bothered me, because she would be like, he's life's passing him by. And I said, he's happy.
Yeah.
He's happy.
He's doing what he wants to do.
Doing what brings him pleasure. And good luck to him. Live and let live is my motto. And here I am doing the same. Yeah.
The way I see it, the way most people are in this world, I'd rather just sit and play on my Xbox.
Yeah. And, he plays a lot of co-op games with people all over the world. Yeah. And good luck to him. He was
I can't wait.
Playing a game with his brother the other night.
I can't wait for me and you to play Borderlands co-op.
Yes, because that'll be a thing now, won't it? Oh my
because
God.
that game is just the definition of dumb fun.
Us two doing a dual gaming stream. Oh dear.
Yeah. Me and you playing Borderlands, fighting over the loot.
What possibly could go wrong now? Am I putting a dude in there or not? I haven't decided yet.
Do you want to actually paint a dude?
I don't mind, to be quite honest with you. It's one of them.
Well, why don't you?
Why don't you?
Well, I'd put on television saying, "Go and do something less boring instead." Why don't you? Right, here you go. Put a piece of plastic card in the cupola with a magnet underneath, and then you can magnetise the figure. And then if you get to the end and decide you can't be bothered painting it, you've already got a blocked off cupola. You can paint black. You don't need to put the figure in. And if you decide to paint the figure, you can magnetise him in. That's what I do. Because if I ever need to ship it anywhere, I need to take the dude out. And it's like, if he's magnetised, it's a plastic card and a magnet, done.
Yeah, it's a good shout, actually.
because that gives you the freedom then to either leave him. You've not closed the hatch. You've got the hatch open, but if the hatch stays open, then you can at least you got
the option then. Yeah, it's good shout.
Yeah, it's sealed, and you can just paint that bit black with some black ink.
It's
sealed,
black as
black can be. It's the most black you can imagine.
Right, we have got.
Oh, it's in my head now.
We have got sponsons.
Sponsons.
Yeah, okay, let's build me sponsons then. Killy dokily. Oh, we've got them plates as well, haven't we? Yeah. Sponson on that one is right at the back.
Sponsonium. I love the fact on the baneblade it's a dirty grey military tank. Yeah, even the little viewing ports are shaped like church windows because it's all the religious cult of the emperor.
Oh, that'll be why. Yeah, I was wondering that.
What?
Why they were shaped like that.
Because in the 40k lore, this is what makes... Because 40k is all about, there's no good guys. The emperor of mankind is many, many thousands of years old. He was there before humanity started to become civilized. Anyway, part of the lore is that the emperor of man, when humanity was destroyed, there was a golden age of technology when humanity spread to the stars. But they were destroyed by their own robots, their own AIs, and in the 10th millennium. Yeah. There was an uprising of intelligence, artificial intelligence, which almost wiped humanity out. And Earth was almost destroyed, and all that was left were all these roving bands of bandits and stuff. So civilization was destroyed. Yeah. And the emperor had kept quiet, living on Earth all this time. He kept quiet, you see, biding his time. And at this point, when humanity was destroyed and reduced to war bands and warlords and stuff, and civilization had fallen apart, he started building this army together to take over the world, to restore humanity. Mm-hmm. But his big thing was he wanted to destroy every religion, because to the emperor, it should be a secular society. There's no religion because religion's all nonsense. Yeah. So therefore he started wiping out all the churches and religious organisations, as well as anybody else who opposed him, and started to build this empire. Mm-hmm. And there's actually a short story which is the emperor goes and talks to the last priest in the last church, basically, on Earth. Oh, right, yes. And the emperor's opinion was that religion was one of the downfalls of humanity, and if he rebuilds society, it won't be forced to adhere to any religious nonsense. It will be driven by advancement of the species and purely secular. Oh, right, yeah. But then, of course, the emperor gets killed in the Horus Heresy, or almost killed, and he becomes this living corpse on the Golden Throne. So what happens then is, unfortunately, because he's not around to keep things going, mm-hmm. the human society, which now spans the stars, starts to build him up as a god emperor, and starts to build a religion based around him, because he's like this immortal being. He's this immortal being with all these powers and stuff. Yeah. But he always said, "I'm not a god. I'm just this being, and I've just got these abilities." And he hated the idea. But now we can't do anything about it. Humanity has built this cult around the cult of the emperor. So the last thing he wanted was a religion based around him, but now he is the god emperor. Oh, nice so one. It's a very not religion like you'd know it, because the religion is he is the god emperor of mankind. Yeah, he's the god. But it's got all this religious imagery, like the Gothic look and all the church window types, and there's vehicles that have got just church windows built into them, coloured glass. It's ridiculous nonsense. Yeah, it works, doesn't it? That's the thing. Yeah. It's all crazy nonsense that if the God Emperor was to come back, he would hate. Anyway, a little bit of lore for you there. He hated religion. I'm impressed. I am impressed. I'm impressed with your knowledge and wisdom on lore, because I know nothing about lore, because... The other reason he hated religion so much was that he had also come to know the gods of the warp. Oh, right, yeah. Like Nurgle and Tzeentch and Horn, and he wanted to make sure that such religious activities were stopped because that would encourage the demons and the gods that live in the warp to start killing humanity. And it's kind of hard to explain without sounding really weird, but yeah. There's a religion based around the Emperor, which is nonsense.
Max is in the chat. He says, we are talking about 40k lore. He must be dreaming. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not often we do that.
Max's eyes have lit up, and I know for a fact he's legged it across his room to get his book on lore out. You're sitting there with it now, Max, aren't you? Come on, fess up.
If you want a fascinating couple of hours, then there's a channel called Leutin09, Leutin. I think it's 09. He does like videos about the lore.
Yeah,
like real in-depth stuff. And he goes through all the sources, and he's fun to listen to. But he's got a series of videos on the Emperor.
Oh, right,
specifically just on the Emperor from the earliest days of mankind, like 70,000 years ago.
Yeah.
To when he first appeared. Where did he come from? What is the Emperor? What is he actually? Is he a god? Is he? And all the way through humanity's history to the 41st millennium, and it's fascinating to listen to. Because there's so much lore in 40k that you wouldn't even know. That you don't even need to know, but it's there. There's like 40 years of books and stories, and it's just great. Everyone should just play 40k and get into it.
Yeah, I mean, I've got an orc book with some rules and bits and bobs in it, but
that's your codex, that is.
That's that's the word. I couldn't think of what the word was, but yeah. But yeah, Max is in heaven, mate. I know he is because he's sitting there all wistful, isn't you, mate?
Whist. See, I don't know that much about the lore, but I know little bits.
Oh, mate, you should come in the Zoom more often, mate. Max will fill you in, mate. He's a ledge. Whenever we need to know anything to do with Warhammer, we ask the man.
I learned from Luton.
Yeah. And it's fascinating, really, because none of that I realise is a thing. And you know when you get me on shrinkflation?
Yeah.
Yeah, you do that with Max, with Warhammer lore, mate. You will find so much out.
Oh, yeah. Right, I've got my top panel on.
Yeah.
Now, it's not fitting exactly, but that's probably because I've not lined up my side panels perfectly right. So if you can see on here, it sits up a little bit on the side like that. That's probably down to, I think I've got some slight...
Oh, are you Brahms and Liszt there, mate? Because
a little bit.
Yeah, it looks like you've gone a bit skew, which, considering you've got your glass shelf, surprises me.
Well, it's hard to know sometimes. It can just be that one of the track units is a little bit tilted inwards. Yeah. Because remember, the tracks don't necessarily sit straight and horizontal when you put them on, so it's always a gamble between... You might get the track unit perfectly flat so it doesn't wobble, but to get it flat it might be at a slight camber. So it's not a problem, because what I can do is glue that down and tape it in place, and it'll stick in place, no problem.
Exactly.
Yeah, so we'll get that glued in. Now, what I was going to say was...
obligatory A4 bit of workspace here.
Oh, yeah. If you're building a baneblade, whichever variant, and you find that your top piece actually fits perfectly, and you can just... What I would suggest is, don't glue it in place.
Absolutely, use it for storage. That's like
Because if that was fitting perfectly, I wouldn't glue it in, and when I finish building it, I can put all the sponsons in there. Especially if you're using it to play on the tabletop, you can put your sponsons in there. You can take the figures off and put them inside, any other bits and bobs, and then you can put that back on again.
Yeah, like when I was doing my assembling, I used a bit of canopy glue, just to hold it in place whilst I was building, and just clean it off now.
But what I will do is sign it first.
I've got a bit of raggy to go in mine yet.
Yeah, I'm not going to sign it with the Sharpie.
Do realise eModels are going to have their very own bit of raggy.
Oh!
I shall do that now whilst it's on my mind.
Is that correct? Wow.
What? The eModels should get a bit of raggy? Of course it is.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, they should get a bit of raggy.
Max Begin says, there's so many layers in 40k, it's difficult to explain to newcomers.
Yeah.
And he says, don't worry, I have to contain myself in the hangout for the sake of everyone else.
Yeah, but as I've said to you before, Max, I find it fascinating, so you carry on, mate. There you go, Lynn. Bit of raggy. Dun, 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 dun,
bit of raggy.
Dun, dun.
I shall try drawing a face in this. If you're ever going to... Here's a thing for folks, by the way. if you're ever going to write on a model kit plastic, for whatever reason, like you might want to sign something, you might want to mark something for later, if you're going to be doing some adjustments and stuff, whenever you're doing it on the outside of a model that's going to be seen and going to be painted, don't ever, ever, ever use a Sharpie.
No, it'll bleed through.
Yeah. Now, it doesn't matter on the inside because never gets it. But if I was, say, writing something on here, like I was going to like left and right on, so if I'm going to write like left and right on components, don't ever use a Sharpie because, like Colin says, it will bleed through any paint you put over it.
Yeah.
A year down the line, you'll see a big L or a big R or whatever you've written on it. So I'm using some Uniposca paint pens on this. Just acrylic paint. It doesn't matter for the inside really, but it's force of habit. Don't use Sharpies on models because you will end up with it blue line bleeding through. It's weird the way
you see people that maybe they'll write the odd grown-up word on a model kit inside or on one of the panels, and suddenly it starts bleeding through. It's a bit like a knot on a bit of wood. It will always leach through.
Yeah.
That's the best way of describing it. It acts like a tannin, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird the way it does. It's kind of odd, but I've done this a bit wrong now, but never mind.
We speak from experience because we've probably both done it. I used to always put a little comment on the model.
It was. I mean, for me, it was more like I'd do little things like I like write left and right on stuff. I need to know which was which bit was which. You know, if you've got two components that look the same, like on this left track unit, right track unit, you might be tempted to write left and right, L and R or something, but it does actually burn through.
I used to do it with my scratch building. I used to mark up grid lines as to where I was going to chop bits and add bits, and then all of a sudden you're like, what is that mark on that model kit? And you think, oh, damn it, it's the Sharpie.
Yeah.
And you're knackered. The only way is to just cut the bit out and,
I suddenly realise I'm trying to draw on this, but it's really hard because there's all lumps and bumps and it makes it kind of difficult. Never mind.
Yeah. Yeah, we've all learnt the hard way.
Yep.
Oh, sorry, I was off shot there, folks. I just needed to get my eyes of seeingness on there. Right, let's get myself a bit.
You're a bit. There you go. I've signed mine.
Oh, you're a
bit of a doodle. Which will have vanished by the time I paint it, probably, because it'll probably get covered in primer by accident or something. So, because I'm going to be gluing this on, because it doesn't fit perfectly, there's no point me leaving it removable.
No.
Apart from that as well, if we were sending this to the guys at eModels, we'd expect them to know how to take it apart and get the bits out and where they need to go, so we'll just not do that.
Yeah.
We'll just glue everything together so James gets a thing he can lift out of a box and put on the shelf. And there you go.
Exactly, because what we do for ourselves isn't necessarily going to...
Yeah.
You know, it's like, you know, when I did the cat, I did the wiring, and it's like, to switch it on, you've only got to move this, move that, and it's like, they're not going to remember that. So.
Well, it's like if I've done one before or I've sold it, then I'll put instructions to the buyer, like this is how you reassemble it and things like that.
Yeah.
Because I can do that. But when it's... All right, let's just get this. I'm going to have to...
Dominic is in saying good afternoon. Hello, Dominic. How you
doing,
Dominic. Mate?
Welcome, buddy. How you doing, my friend?
There you go. Bit of styrene in there.
I'd say if you'll comment auf dem live stream, but that's German, not Belgian or French.
He's Dutch, mate.
Dutch, even. Yes. So not really relevant.
Yeah.
But I don't know how to say welcome to the live stream in any other language apart from fake German. So you get what you're given, I guess.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
I was just about to say I'd stick to English, but Festa's English is Festa English. Yeah.
I am what I am.
Or as H says, Finglish.
Finglish. Festa's English. Finglish.
There you go. That's what Fox meant about the bit of styrene. So you just put a little styrene block in there.
Yep.
Yeah.
And all you do, underneath that, get a few of your bits of sprue to make a little... what I do is I glue a magnet to the styrene.
Yeah.
And then I surround it in a nest of bits of sprue so it can't possibly ever fall out.
It's just reinforcement.
Locked in. Yeah, locked in. And then when you come to build your figure, stick a magnet in the bottom of that and done.
Yeah.
I'm explaining for the chat, obviously not for you.
Yeah.
You know what you're doing. And it just gives you the choice then. You can either put the dude in there and leave the hatch open. But when it comes to the end, if you really decide you're not going to do a dude, you can just glue the hatch. Or you can leave the hatch open. And this tape isn't sticking at all. I am what I am.
And how much tape are you putting on it?
A lot, because it's not actually sticking very well. It's decided to. It's good quality 3M tape that's decided to not be good quality 3M tape anymore. Yeah. Plus, I need it to. I've got tape under my tongue. I need it to actually be. It's the whole length of the piece that needs to sit down flat. So I'll just do one long piece. You see, if that makes sense. It's like I've got to push it down halfway along the whole length of it. So I can't really do half measures. Half measures, wah wah wah.
I see what you did there.
You see what I did there? The thing I love about these Beyblades is you don't have to be delicate with them. They are like the size of a supermarket, and they're like hundreds of years old when they're in battle. So if you go a bit heavy, you make a bit of a mess with your glue, or you sand something a bit, it doesn't matter. They're hundreds of years old.
They're going to be a bit beaten up and downtrodden. Yeah. And
some of them can be thousands of years old. Given the law of 40k, they could be driving around in a tank that's been around for 1,000 years or more. So don't sweat the details. If you make a little bit of a mess or a gap, it's fine. It's 1,000 years old.
Yeah, it's an happy accident, folks.
In the 40k lore, there's tanks on the battlefield and vehicles that have been around longer than the Egyptian Empire lasted, which is kind of bizarre when you think about it. It's mind-blowing. The timescales in 40k are like, what?
Yeah.
They really make your head explode a little bit.
Yeah, you go into tilt mode, don't you?
Yeah.
Then we've got skinny one. A not so skinny one. Fox is like, I know what that needs. That needs a bit more tape on it.
I've got the other end that needs some squishing. I haven't got big clamps, you see, so dirty big clamps.
Yeah, you need some parallel clamps, mate. Look at the state of it. Brilliant.
It's not so much I need that much grip, it's just I need it to squish that much area. There we go.
Welcome, folks, to Captain Overkill.
I used to work in detailing. I've got a whole mess of 3M blue tape stored.
Yeah.
I've got to do something with it. But that way I've got all my pressure on because the glasses plate here wasn't sticking down in the corner, so I've got that bit for the front glasses plate, and I've got this bit for that side there, you see.
You should have sat on it.
Yeah, that was going to end well.
I know.
The last thing you want near anything is my backside doing anything.
Yes, folks, I am that sad that I'm getting rid of the mould line between every single rivet on my sponsor because, yeah, you got to.
Oh, you have to. Yeah, more tape's going on.
Good man.
I found an extra area. Ooh, my area. I maybe don't have to do quite this much, but it's easy just to get the real pressure on the parts I want to squash because it's not particularly sticky.
You do realise you're going to have to hold that up to the camera now to let people see. I mean, look at that, folks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like some kind of tank out of Aliens now. But that's purely because I want to compress it there, there, and there.
Yeah.
It's the three areas, and because the tape isn't that sticky, I haven't got dirty great big clamps, but I have got a whole lot of 3M blue tape, so
yeah,
I'll use what I've got. Because if I clamp it, because it's such a big piece of plastic, if I just put a piece of tape here, It's not squishing it here or
No,
here.
that's right. Yeah.
Or
I
there.
I know what you're doing, mate. You don't need to explain to me. I know what you're doing.
It's for the benefit of the people in chat.
I just want to mock you.
More importantly, I have no coffee left. Which
No.
is sad to say, to be fair. I'm now drinking the waters. This is where I realised that I've forgotten to do something on the inside of the hull. I'm like, no!
Yeah. Did you sign it?
Yeah, I signed it. It is signed. I showed the good people what the signing was. My next step is building the turret. But I think we shall leave that to next time, I think.
Well, are we getting late already?
10 to 2. What time do you want to go till?
Got the last part, 1:30, mate.
Yeah, well, I shall start making my figures in that case. I won't do anything. I'll just start building my little dudes. Because that doesn't take long. Takes a few. Just so I'm doing something.
Yeah, I'm just doing me sponsoring.
I don't know whether I should build the tank commander on foot as well as the tank commander in the turret.
Yeah, that's a thought. I might just do the one in the turret because, yeah. It keeps the model together then, doesn't it? Because we're shipping it to eModels.
Yes.
It's easier for them then. They just open the box, take it out, put it in the shelf, forget about it. Done.
Yeah, just whether you want a little dude stood next to it. Because in reality, you don't have a guy. It's weird, right? But when you're actually playing the game, having a commander in the tank hatch changes the stats for your vehicle. It has a gameplay consequence. So, like, you might only have theoretically one tank with a commander in a platoon of tanks, a squad of tanks, because there's only one commander. But there's something about building a dirty great tank and not having a dude in the turret that just seems incomplete to me. Yes, incomplete.
Well, for me, it just adds to the scale.
Yes. Well, I'm not going to build the guy that's in the turret yet because I haven't got the turret to make sure his arms line up on.
Yeah, no, I'm just going to do the sponsor and get that all ready.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think I'll make the standing up dude then, may as well. Because when you build the guy in the turret, he's actually sitting holding onto the cupola, so you have to make sure his arm actually lines up properly when he's in.
Yes.
I shall do the standing up guy, which will fill a few minutes quite nicely.
Oh, good you are.
And he just happens to be on this sprue that I've got out already. Kick ass. Although they don't actually give you... Do they give you... Do they even... I can hear it. Where is it? Oh, there it is.
Max says, gotta think the Imperium has stagnated in technology, scared of change, keeps things traditional, but you've got Belisarius Cool saying enough is enough, we need to change it to go forwards. Laugh out loud. Absolutely. Yep.
Basically,
Dominic says he wants to try making a Warhammer tank sometime in the future. Yes, you know you want to, Dominic.
Yeah.
We'll look after you, mate. You ask your Uncle Festa and your Uncle Fox. We'll send you to all the right places.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, in the 40k lore, remember I was saying about how like humanity collapsed when all their robots and AI rose up against them and destroyed human society, all across the galaxy. When the Emperor rebuilt humanity, of course, he was starting from like nomads in the desert. He was like with no technology.
Yeah.
And one of his other edicts was that because it was like super intelligent machines that destroyed humanity, that would never happen again.
No. So
what they did was they only used technology from before the collapse. He forbid new technology because it was too dangerous.
Oh, right.
And they only used technology from before humanity collapsed, but that was only stuff that didn't have artificial intelligence because that was the problem.
Yeah.
So I've just done that's the. I don't want the sword. I don't want the pointy arm. Which arm is that? And that persisted so that basically now, theoretically, whenever something new appears in like this, a new model like that, a new model appears of a new vehicle or something, it's because somewhere somebody found an old, what's called an STC, a template of a piece of technology from before the human collapse, and they started making it. But this guy, Belisarius Call, is like a tech priest who started to say, you know what, we need to not just depend on old crap anymore. We need to start making modern, our own technology. Oh, you've only got one head for the tank commander. Oh no, I've got two. Maybe. Bums. I'm sure I've got more tank commander heads sitting around. I'm pretty sure I've got spare ones.
Oh, I'm sure we've got a stash of greebles, mate.
Greebles!
But you know what happens when I get my greebles box out? All kinds of insanity. So I'm having to be very, very, very good with myself. Very controlled.
Yeah. Well, I've got another head that can count as a commander head. I don't think I'm going to have a guy in the machine gun turret though, because not that I don't want to paint 3 guys, but getting the machine gunner's arms to line up with the machine gun is an absolute pain fest. Yeah, it can be. So what I'm going to do instead?
Also, got to think of shipping, haven't you?
Well, again, it's you know, there's no problem to just have him detachable, but he's got to, when you put him back in, you've got to make sure that he lines up with the machine gun.
Exactly. And when it gets to the other end, it's like, yeah. So I'll just leave it. That'll be a closed turret. Closed turret. You can have it open and just have your bit of styrene underneath it.
Yeah, or that. That is the other option. But there'll be no dude in it.
Yeah.
No dude today.
He's gone for a comfort break.
He's pooping. He's pooping. Roger, pooping now.
You're obsessed. You're obsessed with pooping.
Everybody poops. Wasn't that an REM song? Everybody poops. I don't know.
Oh dear.
I've cut that arm off and I wanted to not do that because I need it for the other guy. Spoon.
Oh, what have you done?
No, I don't know what I've done with it. Oh, fie. Where did I put that other? Oh, it's over there. There we go. Now I've got to find somewhere to put it. Oh, fudge. I know. I shall tape it to the sprue, then I can't possibly lose it.
Oh, dear. Oh, dear. The tape's coming back out, folks.
No, not the big tape.
Dun, 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 dun.
Not the big tape. No, I cut this arm off, but I need that for the guy that's going to be in the turret, so I shall simply attachulate it to the spruings. Now, when you make your little man that goes in the turret, are you going to do the big flowy greatcoat or the tanker jacket?
Oh, I might have.
Because you can do one or the other, you see. You can have a big flowy greatcoat on him, or you can have a tanker jacket.
Yeah, the way you're saying big flowy greatcoat, to me, leads me to think that,
Well, I don't know, because you've got that guy. Or you've got that guy.
Sorry, mate, I was not looking up.
That guy. Oh, that guy. Oh, no, hang on. No, that's for the other guy that's in the normal gunning turret. Ignore me.
Yeah.
That's not for the commander. The commander does always have the flowy greatcoat. Okay, that's cool. I forgot.
It's all about the big flowy greatcoat, isn't it?
It's all about the
coat. You had a big flowy greatcoat, didn't you?
I certainly did. I have many. Well, I've got many. I have a couple. I like big flowy greatcoats.
Does it swish when you walk round a corner?
My favourite one, which is a 1980s French army greatcoat, it's a little bit heavy to swish too easily. You sometimes have to walk a bit more forcefully than normal to make it billow out behind you.
Yeah.
A little bit. And you sometimes have to maybe have your hand down the side near the pocket area just to maybe gently encourage it to swish.
Yeah, just give it an additional nudge of flowiness.
Yeah. Impart a little hint of kinetic energy to it. La 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 la.
Because anyone that owns a greatcoat would do that.
Yeah.
It's like you tell me everyone that's worn a lab coat doesn't try to make it swish when they walk round a corner.
Of course they do. If you wear a lab coat done up, then you're just rubbish.
Yeah. Yeah, it's got to be full swishy mode like Batman's cape.
Yeah. Whoa.
Max says it still makes me laugh that Imperium forbids what's that? AI. However, the machine spirits is still a type of AI which the driver have to integrate with the system to keep the AI in control. It's very hypocritical.
Yes, because AI is forbidden because that is what was the downfall of man. So it's actually, if you've got a machine and it's got AI in it, it's heretical.
Oh, right, yeah.
But they have these things called machine spirits, which the tech priests will, light. They'll light candles and they'll recite prayers and they'll cover things in unguents. What they're basically basic AIs.
Yeah. So
it's kind of, it is an AI, but they don't think of it as, they think of it as a machine spirit. Yeah. They've basically gone backwards. It's like giving modern technology to a primitive society and expecting them to figure out how it works. So yeah, but that's why the Emperor didn't want AI, you see, because that's what destroyed mankind in the first place, making machines so intelligent that they rebelled and rose up against the humans.
Yeah, Cyberdyne systems.
Yeah, because basically machines and robots and things were treated as slaves because they were used for. But when they became too intelligent, that was the point where you're like, you should stop treating them as slaves now because they're actually intelligent. But then they didn't. So. There's so much lore to 40k. Just go and watch every single video on Lutin09's channel and you'll appreciate how insane it is.
You want to be going, where's Festa? We've not seen him for months. Yeah, Fox told him to go and watch that channel.
Yeah. Bye. You're like you would. Don't you watch anything I tell you to watch?
Apart from Bluey.
No, you did watch one.
Yeah.
That's one. That's
not still not
every
happy,
single episode. No, you need to watch every single episode. It's the best thing ever. Where else will you learn words like difficult? Come on now.
Oh dear. I worry about you, you know.
What does difficult mean? It means it's tricky and difficult. See?
Yeah, there's logic to that.
Yeah. Well, Bingo's 4 years old, so to Bingo it makes perfect sense. She's trying to basically pick up little tiny cherry tomatoes with a fork on a plate, and they're all flying around everywhere. And she's like, "Oh, this is difficult." It's completely adorable. You can't. If you don't find that adorable, then you've got a heart of stone. You're a cold, dead human being. What's your belly tonight then, buddy?
What day is it? Thursday? Is it Thursday? No, it's Wednesday.
Wednesday.
That will be sausage, mash and beans.
Oh, yeah. Don't know what we're having.
I'm a man of very, very limited tastes, and yeah, I normally can tell what day of the week it is by what I'm having for dinner.
I know what I like, and I like what I know.
Absolutely.
What day is it, he says, while presenting the Wednesday show on eModels?
I know. Yeah, but don't forget, I've had about 4 hours kip since Sunday morning.
That's
mate,
true.
So.
You get a pass on that one. I was biting that on.
You know, unlike you princesses that get you 12 hours slumber a day or whatever.
I wish. 12 hours would be nice.
One day just blurs into the next.
That's entropy.
I was very close to getting roofied.
Yes. That's when H makes sure he goes to sleep via various nefarious means.
Yeah, I am going to make you a cup of tea, and then 8 hours later I wake up going, what happened to me? Yeah.
The thing that gets me is, right, it's very like Mr. T being given the cheeseburger just after he said he doesn't want to get on the plane, and he falls for it every time.
Yeah, but, you know, it's you know, cup of tea, isn't it? You know, you tell me someone from my neck of the woods that turns down a cup of tea, and I'll be saying, yeah, they're not proper Londoner then, are they?
What would make it hilarious if like H making you was a cup of tea was so rare,
yeah,
and that she only ever made you a cup of tea when she needed to roofie you, then that will make it even more hilarious. Like every time, You'd be like, you never fall for it.
Yeah, you can't go into a Londoner's house and not have a cold kettle. Or have a cold kettle even, because that would be something seriously wrong. That's when you know they're obviously ill.
Well, Southerners don't have kettles, they all have Burkos, don't they?
Yeah.
Contractually obliged to have a Burko.
Oh yeah.
Doesn't that count as an essential service like electric and water and having a Burko?
Yeah, absolutely.
If your Burko goes, you can call the council to come and sort it out on a priority basis.
Yeah. Get your Burkos here. £8 per pound.
It's like it's my mum. There's a power cut and the water's gone off. Yeah, whatever. But she's got no coffee, no tea either. Oh, we'll get the engineers around ASAP. We'll call the ambulance and the fire brigade now.
Oh yeah, you got to have Burko, mate. It's an essential appliance that everyone needs to have.
You're an essential appliance.
Nothing wrong with that.
That wasn't an insult, was it? God damn it.
No, nothing wrong with that.
Damn it. I'm failing.
You are.
My insult foo is
ill,
weak.
Mate. You're clearly ill.
My insult foo is failing. Super match game.
Super match game.
Max says, yeah, there's so many layers to 40k. If it's not the story, it's the culture, background, environments, character developments, equipment, tech, and so on, lol.
Yeah.
There's also a massive library of books and stories as well, and like book. There's like, I don't know how, there must be like over 1,000 different books. There's a whole like book industry around 40k. They have their own publishing arm that just publishes 40k.
It's surprising how popular it is.
Well, it's been around for a long time.
You do that to me every time when you mute. First thing I did there was check my settings because you went quiet. But yeah, it is such a thing, isn't it, how popular it is.
Yeah.
It's
like anything. It's like, D&D or anything. It's just been around for a long time. It was the first one of its type. Well, not the first tabletop game, but the first, this kind of tabletop game of its type in the 70s, late 70s, early 80s. Not long after D&D started. Yeah. So it got its foot in the door.
Yeah, I do find it fascinating how popular it all is, because it's like, you wouldn't think it, would you, really?
No. I mean, really, if you think about it, to sort of do a parallel with video games, 40k and by association Warhammer Age of Sigmar and all the associated games, they are basically like, they are to things like Dungeons and Dragons and other tabletop games, they are basically like to those as first-person shooters are to video games. It's a tabletop war game, but not as stead and boring as the traditional, middle-aged men fighting with Napoleonic forces and all that kind of stuff. Like traditional tabletop games. So they're like the Call of Duty of the tabletop game world, I suppose.
So I got that one. So is there an Xbox game for Warhammer? And I suppose if there was, it would kill off the entire tabletop side of it, would it?
There are billions of video games in the Warhammer franchise.
Oh, right, okay.
Most of them are top-down strategic tactical games.
Oh, mobile phone style.
No, but you command either a squad of dudes or an entire army, and you see the game from above. But they're not like the tabletop game.
Right, okay.
They're separate from that. There's also a few like notables. There's Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine, which is the third-person shooter, which is really, really good, where you're just killing lots of orcs. You'd love it.
Orcs.
There's a new one coming out. There's a new Space Marine coming out, I think, next year. There's also one that's just come out called Warhammer Darktide, which is a first-person shooter, but it's like a squad base. You have a squad of 3 or 4 people.
Oh, right, yeah.
Fighting Tyrion. So there are... You'd be surprised how many Warhammer games there are.
Yeah.
Most of them are terrible.
Yeah.
Most of them are top-down RTS, which is like the tactical view your entire army from above.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's not a game that interests me at all.
No.
There's a few like first-person, third-person ones, and most of them are pretty much terrible. But there's a few standouts, like Space Marine, Dark Tide. There's also some for Age of Sigmar, like Warhammer Vermintide. There's a couple of them.
Oh, right, yeah.
They're quite good. But a lot of them are like strategic and tactical games, which doesn't do anything for me. But yeah, just next time you're on your Xbox, which you now own.
Oh, yeah, coincidentally, yeah. Mm.
Go into the search window and just do a search for Warhammer. You'll find there's so much, and that's just on console. There's thousands of them on video games, but they're always very careful to make sure they don't cross over with the actual tabletop game. There's no virtual version of the tabletop game,
right?
By design, because that would obviously cause problems.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Yeah. So
yeah, they've been. The funny thing is, Warhammer, right, they're really protective over their IP, which is why there hasn't been lots of Warhammer TV series or movies, and when there have been, they've been terrible, but they're very protective of it, and they don't like anybody else doing anything with their franchise.
Yeah.
Apart from video games, where they'll let anybody with a computer make a video game, so 99% of them are garbage.
Yeah, it's strange that, then, isn't it, that they're happy to do that.
Well, it's easy money. There's no guarantee you'll make your money back with a movie, but with a video game, you'll at least get some of it back. You'll appeal to someone somewhere, but yeah, a lot of them are really crap. There's a few standouts, but... Max McGinn says you've got the Dawn of War series on PC, which is like Command and Conquer. That doesn't mean anything to Colin. Remember, Colin's experience of video games is Pong and Sonic. And what was the other one?
Bully. Canis Canon did it.
Bully in some of the LucasArts games. So yeah, there's no frame of reference you can give here. Space Marine is a third-person game. A lot of them are turn-based games. Yeah, turn-based strategic and tactical games. Which
this is why Fox is so envious of me having the Xbox at the moment, because I get to experience all the games for the first time. And I have zero experience. Yeah,
and you know. Here's me saying RTS like strategic, tactical, turn-based games, which are really boring for me. You might love them, I don't know. You might find them fantastic. So you never know. I never know. I don't know what you might like. So yes, there are lots of games.
I don't know what I'm going to like. That's the fun of it, isn't it? It's like,
yeah. You don't know what you don't know. Oops. You might find a penchant for, like, you know, I don't know, turn-based RTS tactical strategy games. Find the thing on the static image puzzle hunt games, and Japanese tentacle hentai porn. I don't know. Who knows what you might like? Who knows?
Max goes, sod's cold. Don't apologise, mate. You don't need to, mate. Don't need to apologise, Max. Blimey, mate.
He says there is a table. He's only joking. He says there is a tabletop simulator where you can play tabletop versions online, but that's not actually official, though.
Yeah.
But it does seem like they're so protective of their IP, apart from with video games, where the people just churn out these really not particularly great video games.
Makes you wonder, doesn't it?
Yeah. I suppose it's low cost.
Yeah.
Low cost, some profit, especially mobile games. They churn them out all of them. It's not Games Workshop actually doing them. It's various third-party publishers. So. I mean, I suppose a lot of the video games that come out, they're fairly true and accurate to the lore and to the style. They're not like, you know, they're just not very good.
No.
So they're gatekeeping the accuracy, but not the quality. Right, that's that guy all cleaned up. I've got to drill out the barrels.
Drill out your barrels of fun.
Do. McGinn says, Canis Canem Edit or Bully game is such a masterpiece. I've still got it on the Xbox Series X.
Yeah.
Oh, it's probably available on Series X, by the way, dude.
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah, that was what I was going to say. That game drive came with a Xbox Pass Ultimate code.
Ooh. Oh, yeah. So have you got Game Pass now, then? Or is it a 3-month job?
It's a 3-month trial for it. So I'm not going to use it until I've played a few games and gotten into it, because I want to get the benefit out of it.
Yeah, well, you need to decide if you want to use Game Pass or just Xbox Live Gold. So
exactly. So
if you play lots of different games all the time, then that's a great way to do it. If you just play one game for 7 months, you buy 2 games a year. You don't need Xbox
Exactly. So I've got no idea yet. So rather than redeem the code now, I'm going to sit on the code for a little while and
Yes.
get to familiarise myself with one's surroundings.
Yes. I think there are some games that are available to play on the modern consoles, but you can't actually buy them in the Xbox store.
Yeah.
There are some Xbox 360 games which you can only actually get from the original Xbox 360 store, which you may have to do online on the PC rather than on your Xbox.
That goes on.
What was it I got the other day? I got something a few months ago. What did I download? I think it was one of the old Wolfenstein games, I think.
Oh, right, yeah.
Which is an Xbox 360 game. It's backwards compatible, but you can't buy it on the current. You have to go onto the old Xbox 360 store and buy it on your computer. You can't buy it on the console. It won't show up if you try it on console.
Got a turret to make.
You're a turret.
I like being a turret.
Attention all shoppers. Festa is a turret.
I'm wrong being a turret. One of them. Get hold of that. How are we doing? Oh, yeah, got time to do that.
I've just got to drill this barrel and then glue this chap together.
We've got some halves there.
Roger, deleting now. Probably not on camera, but hey, you get what you're given. Drill out your barrel. That wasn't anywhere near the middle. Oh well.
You could disguise that. Bit of battle damage.
I'll just use my knife to pare it out around the edges.
Look at you with your paring out.
I like a nice paring.
See what you did there?
Here all week trying to fish.
Here all week. I'm here all week.
I thought I had a smaller drill bit. I clearly do not.
Alright.
Oh, actually, no, I do know. I do know I've got a smaller drill bit. I have a much smaller drill bit. Where is
That will be a good place to finish today with a sponson done. Well,
well, if I get this little chap glued together.
do you notice this week I've slowed right down to give you a chance to catch up, see, because I'm nice like that.
You don't need to slow down for me to catch you up, dude.
No, that's all right.
You go at your speed.
No, it's not fair.
Because at the moment, there's all the painting to do. You might take longer to do the painting than me. You might not. I don't know. Who knows?
Absolutely. I still really have not got much of an idea on where I'm going to go with the paint job. I've got a rough idea of the scheme, but obviously I want to get some weathering done and bits and bobs. And
yeah. Oh, I made a right mess of that.
Nothing wrong with that.
Oh, made a right mess of that barrel. Oh dear.
Battle damage. Dear. Have you got a spare?
I probably have. Well, I might be able to glue it back together again and just wing it and just.
Have you got a bit of tubular styrene that you can just make barrel tip for it or convert it? How about a round bit of sprue? Cut it, stick it on the end, and then re-drill that.
Or even better, just use the other arm that comes with the weapon in it.
Yeah, there you go.
Put that in the bin because I've destroyed it completely. Basically, my hole was a little bit off centre, and when I tried to go around with the knife, it just broke the side of the...
You need to go to see the doctor then, mate.
Well, yeah. It broke the side of the barrel, and there's no way back from that. If it was like a bolter, I could have just used a spare bolter barrel, but it's too small. But luckily, the commander in the cupola can have an arm on the cupola, so...
Fox made the mistake so that you don't have to.
You don't have to. Exactly. Boop, boop, boop. It wasn't a mistake. It was an error in drilling.
It was
skill.
An educational. This is what could go wrong.
Yes. Now I'm going to try and drill out the barrel on an even smaller weapon. Oh, well, let's see what happens.
Because we're good like that. See, we don't make boo-boos. We have happy little accidents, don't we, dear?
Yeah. Let's see if I can drill out the barrel on this one instead, which is even smaller.
Drill out your barrel.
The barrels.
Drill out your barrel. The fun. Max
Where do you drill your barrels out?
I think Ride 3 you might like if you love motorbikes of all brands. Oh, sounds like a plan, Max.
Yeah, there's a few bike racing games out there.
Yeah.
Max, Formula One games
if
as well.
Max, if you haven't seen the Xbox, look. it's
Bum, bum, bum,
it's
bum,
claptrap.
bum, bum, bum. Yep.
Yeah. Because I like to do different things, and look, it's got a lid on it now as well. That's claptrap.
You can never leave. You can never leave anything alone, can you? You can't leave anything alone.
So yeah, it's proper been pimped. Yeah, but it was one of those. It's going to, where it's sat on the bench, it's only temporary at the moment, but I was just worried that it would get scratched or whatever, so skinning it to me was the logical solution.
It is a bit of a fingerprint magnet, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, not as much as a shiny piece of electronic equipment, but it's...
Dare I say, it looked a bit boring anyway. I know.
You have to send it back now and go off and buy a PlayStation because you're clearly not Xbox material.
Yeah, but
I shall never speak to you again.
It was a bit bland, wasn't it? Come on. You got to admit, it is a bit of a bland thing, isn't it? It's like, yeah.
Have you never watched 2001: A Space Odyssey with the monolith?
No.
There you go. Oh, dear.
You're ashamed of me again, aren't you? Oh, what? Stop telling me off.
With an H.
Are you giving me that finger of shame again? You are, aren't you?
Do you like my little throwback there? That was quite good, that, I thought.
I'm impressed.
I don't know.
Is that more things for the list, is it?
The Series X is a thing of beauty, especially compared to the competition.
Yeah, I mean, I had a heavily modded PlayStation 2. But, yeah, I don't like the new generation. And dare I say it, having spoke with me lad and obviously yourself, it seemed that most people seem to go that the connoisseur, the Xbox is the Apple Mac of the console world, am I right? It's the better quality, it's the better... or am I going to get a whole raft of PlayStation people throwing darts at me?
Bless you, because you're new to all this, you've got no concept of the whole console war that's been going on since 2000.
No, last console war I remember was Nintendo and Sega. Yeah,
you've now just invited an entire, squad of fanboys from both Xbox and PlayStation to just eviscerate you constantly now.
Why is there such a rivalry then? Because obviously the quality is going to be comparable, surely.
Because people are morons when it comes to things like that. There are people out there who are idiots and think, oh, well, they get very protective of the one they've bought and spent money on.
Yeah.
Whereas I just think, you know what? It's a piece of equipment.
It's personal preference, surely.
Yeah, but there's people that go really crazy defending their choice, and it's like, let's just everybody be happy with what they've got.
Yeah.
Personally, I say the Xbox is the better console because it's a bit more powerful.
I mean, computer-wise, I've got Apples and I've got Windows.
Yeah.
I use my MacBook for all my video editing and all of that, and I'm happy to do so.
Yeah, the problem is that people of our generation are kind of intelligent.
Yeah.
We can say, I've got this console because I prefer it. And the other person will go, that's a good choice. I have the other console because I prefer that. Brilliant. Let's all have a cup of tea. People of a younger generation, they're just idiots.
It's a bit like Australia, isn't it? You're either a Ford or a Holden man in your motorsport, and there's quite a rivalry, isn't there, between two, and a bit like Chevy and Mustangs, isn't it?
The whole console thing, it's just complete nonsense, and it just makes people turn into complete spoons. So
for me, it's made logical sense to go with it because most people that I know that do gaming are Xbox people. So for me, it seemed logical.
Yeah. Doesn't matter which one you choose, as long as you have fun.
Well, not only that, I've already got a PlayStation. That's how I see it. All right, it's a PlayStation 2, but whereas I didn't have an Xbox, so it's like, well, I'll try one of them. I've got the best of both worlds. I've got a Sega Mega Drive, retro gaming. I've got my PC that I can play Steam games on, and I've got PS2 and I've got an Xbox.
Yeah,
I'm happy.
But I think most people will agree that the Xbox is quite a stylish device. The PlayStation 5 is just a heretical abomination. I mean, what in the name of Satan's rather ample and firm butt cheeks were they even thinking when they designed that thing? It's like, really? That's the stupidest looking piece of technology I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's a bit strange, isn't it?
Yeah, and ironically, it also looks very much like a particular router that existed at the time. Also, a large sort of burrito or something. I don't know.
It's
I don't know what they're thinking when they designed that.
Yeah. It's the sort of thing you'd, you know, if you was to flick a bit of lettuce hanging out of it, it would look, yeah.
Yeah. I only go for Xbox now because I've been on Xbox for 20 years.
Well, it's like phones, isn't it?
All my friends are.
I mean, people have often said, "Oh, you've not tried a Samsung." Well, why would I? Because I've had iPhones since they first came out, and
yeah.
So you make your choice and stick with it, you know. And it's like, you know, it's not that I don't like Samsung phones. It's just I've always had iPhones right back from the iPhone 3G. So,
well, the thing for me is with phones, it's like, okay, well, I've always had an iPhone, so when I get a new iPhone, I just put it next to my old one, and everything's set up.
Yeah, pretty much.
If I buy a Samsung or something else, like an Android phone, I've got to start from scratch.
Got to learn new things, ain't you?
Yeah. Why don't I just get a new iPhone that I can just literally put it next to the one and say, please can copy everything from that phone to that phone. Done. There you go. Brilliant. There's your phone. Yeah. There's all your contacts done and everything else.
And we are men of a certain age. We don't like learning new things.
Yeah. Done. Built the dude. I'm done.
Oh, I'm impressed. I'm just coming to the end of doing my sponsored, so I'll be nearly done in a minute, and then we'll go for the afternoon.
For a bit. For people that want to know how big a baneblade is, there's a person stood next to it.
Yeah.
So you get the idea. That's how big a baneblade actually is, theoretically.
Yeah.
Right, let's take my lenses off.
Well,
and actually
in
do a little
that case, you've said a Lehman Russ in the past is as big as a house, but it's not as big as a baneblade, am I right?
Let me get a Lehman Russ, hang on.
So, if a Lehman Russ is as big as a house, that's a tall geezer then, surely?
Yeah, a Lehman Russ.
Because the scale to me don't marry up then.
Well, there's a Lehman Russ.
Yeah, am I being naive again? I am, aren't I?
No, it's just it's hard to see. There's a Lehman Russ with a dude in it.
Yeah.
That's probably as tall as your house, if you think about it.
Right.
May not be as big as you, but it's like, if you look at how big the dude is,
yeah,
that's probably a standard 3-bed semi-height, maybe a little less. Maybe, if that makes sense. Whereas you put it next to a baneblade, suddenly it's tiny, because that's the baneblade compared to...
Yeah.
So, according to the scales given in law, a baneblade is about the size of 4 Abrams tanks.
Oh, right, yeah.
It's about 2 Abrams tanks long and about 2 Abrams tanks wide, if you go off the measurements they give you in the law. Of course, if you have the model there, it's probably not exactly that, but it's like it weight in the law. It's this long and that heavy and that tall. And Dorcosaurus is in. Says, "Good morning, fellas. Hope everyone is doing good."
Hello, William.
Welcome, Dorcosaurus.
How are you, mate? Nice to see you.
Jeff says my sons have both Xbox and PlayStation.
Yeah.
Ooh, nice. Colin, absolutely love it. He says about your claptrap.
Oh, you like
Xbox?
it, Max? Yeah.
Yeah. Overall, PC is king, but I can't afford a gaming setup. I got the Xbox because my friends on it, plus their service like Game Pass is good value. The reason I do console is because I am the least technical person ever, and I like to put in a game and play. I don't like to put in a game
for that.
Yeah, I don't like to put in a game and then have to fart about with drivers and then update drivers
I've
and
had
then
to
make
sit
sure
here,
it
Max, trying to explain to him that a graphics card is plug and play, and I gave up the will to live, mate.
Yeah. So I don't want to install a game and suddenly realize, oh wait, I need to set this and change that and change my ND file. No, I just want to plug in and play it. So. Also, my console will be fine for 7 or 8 years. No matter what you've got, Xbox or PlayStation or PC, I'm not going to hate for it. There's no need. Everyone's different. Just fed up with console wars fiasco. Yeah, it's nonsense. It's absolute nonsense. It's petty little people that are unsecure about their own purchase.
Yeah, I don't understand it, to be honest with you. It's like, look, you made your choice because of whatever reason, and people should respect that.
I mean, I had a PlayStation, I had a PS3.
Yeah.
I'm an Xbox boy, but I bought a PS3 just to play Last of Us when it first came out.
I mean, Lex, my eldest, he's got Nintendo, he's got Xbox, he's got PlayStation, he's got, all the different consoles, because he's an avid gamer and he's got a full-blown gaming rig PC, so...
Yeah.
But that's his thing. He is absolutely a gaming nut.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It depends what you got. I mean, in your case... One of the plus points for your Xbox was you had access to a large library of games.
Absolutely. He's like, dude, there's my logon. Feel free.
Yeah. So why would you go for a PlayStation when you can get all those games?
I've got a Sponson with a turret on it.
Sponson! I'm not sure if I'll glue my turrets on mine. Yeah, paint them first.
Yeah, I've only glued the peg. But actually, yeah, saying that probably wasn't my wisest idea.
I'm just wondering, because painting the barrel. Painting the barrels.
See, that's why he's a guru, see. There you go. But yeah, happy days.
You can pin it later and paint it with fun. Right, well, I'm done anyway.
Yeah, that's me at a reasonable spot. So yeah, we've got a bit done on there. So yeah, happy days.
I think that's going to do us. I've just put that drill bit.
Me sponsoring on that side. That gives me plenty of scope. I haven't put me exhausts on yet because I want to paint everything and then put them on towards the end. Same with my barrel. That's why I haven't put the big boomstick on because, yeah, I want to get that all painted.
I've got to be honest. I'm glad you put the sponson at the back. I don't know what it is, right? But I don't think it looks good with the sponsons at the front of the tank. It just doesn't seem to work.
No,
it doesn't.
On this variant, that's where the sponson goes. So, yeah.
Yeah. But it's like some people like to put the sponsons at the front, and it's like, really? It just doesn't. It kind of. I don't know.
Yeah,
it doesn't look good with them at the front.
Yeah. So yeah,
you've got 3 places. So I'm glad you've done that. Good.
Yeah, I am building it as per the instructions, dear.
I know it's a struggle. The struggle is real.
On the instructions, it's got the turrets at the back, so therefore, so that's where they went.
Has one of them got the sponsors at the front? I can't remember.
Yeah, the Dome Hammer and the Bane Hammer and the Stormlord.
Yeah, if you look at them, they've got the sponsons at the. It's not really in focus, I know. But
yeah,
they've got
it does look a little bit. It looks like that
dirty
big-eared child that I used to be at your school, doesn't it?
It's the kid with the big. Yeah, it's the kid with the big ears and the half-mast trousers.
Yeah, it's Plug out of the Bash Street Kids, isn't it? It's like
yeah. Dorkasura says he's doing good. He's finally put his mini fridge and his Keurig next to the hobby table. I saw the picture of that. It's very good.
Yeah, I've got mini fridge next to me here, mate. It's like, yeah, you got to have mini fridge, mate.
Yep. Max Begin says, plus Xbox is cross-platform. You can play with people who have Windows PC.
That's a good shout, yeah.
Do you need an emulator to run that, Max, says Jeff Light.
Yeah, tell you what I will do is I'll put all of those in my bag.
No, Jeff, a lot of games that are on PC and Xbox are cross-play. So I can play whatever the game might be, and I might be playing against people who are playing it on PC. Depends on the publisher. I think all Microsoft first-party games are cross-play, most of them. So because it's just the same pool of like Halo and stuff, the same pool of players. But it depends on the publisher. Sony do some cross-play, but they're not as open with it. Microsoft are quite happy because they sell games on PC and Xbox.
Emulators and that. I mean, I've got an emulator on this PC that allows me to play PS2 games. It's PSSX, I think it's called. But it's one of those. It's like, well, if I want to play a PlayStation game, really, you just play it on the PlayStation, don't you? So, But yeah, happy days. I could have stored all of them in there, really, but hey, you know.
Yeah, we learn by doing.
It's obligatory bit of raggies in there.
Good. I've signed mine, but I daren't take the tape off yet in case it goes and everything expands.
I'm going to let that dry now before next week. Happy days, mate. I think we've had a good show there, mate.
We've had a good fettle today, haven't we? I've got my barrels cleaned up. You've stuck bits on.
Yeah. Like I say, I haven't done a massive amount today. It's all the itty bitty accessories, but yeah.
It's all the sponsons, which is the dredge.
Yeah, because I like to try and build things like the aerials and that, and then they'll go on at the very end. But yeah.
Yeah. What, are you going to magnetise them or just glue them on?
I honestly don't know because I've got to ship it. See, that's the thing with this one. Whereas my other one, I just glued everything on because I've got to ship this up to eModels. I might just magnetise them.
Yeah, because it's the easiest thing to do.
You know, and just say, look, all you got to do is click that in place, job done.
Yeah, like paint a big yellow bit and say, that yellow bit, that's where you pop the thing
because to me it makes sense because if anything's going to break, it'll be them.
Yeah, because the thing is, it just makes your tank twice as tall, which makes packing it a pain in the bum.
Well, this is it. I mean, that'll get shipped in a battle box anyway, and then they can just ship that back to me with me next build, so...
Yeah.
Happy days. So there you go,
Yes.
folks. That's another Wednesday at the bench in the can for you. Hopefully
Yes.
you've enjoyed what we've been doing. We'll be about on Friday for a frolic. And then hopefully we'll see you next Wednesday for another one of these bad boys.
Yeah. Don't forget, of course, this kit is available on eModels.co.uk, your one-stop shop for all your model making needs. How many model making needs, Cole?
All of them.
Oh.
And
Yes,
go
so go
and build something awesome.
Go and get yourself a baneblade.
Happy days. Links for that are in the description, folks.
Yes. Yeah, so go and check them out.
Absolutely. Massive thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you for the next one, peeps. Bye-bye for
Adios,
now.
amigos.
Bye.
Bye.